Hello, hello. Welcome to today. It is February 21st, 2023, and we're here streaming again. The plan today, as it were, is we're going to be doing some Guilty Gear Strive VOD review. A friend of mine, Pip Gaming, has requested some help because he's I guess hitting a bit of a roadblock. It seems like probably a lot of it is matchup specific. He's tired of losing to Chip, first of all, but also is looking for general information because there's more than just Chip games that we're going to be reviewing. But he ended up losing to a Chip in Frosty Faustings. He lost to a Chip in Akihabara Arcade, and he lost to a Chip in TNS. So he's getting real tired of losing to this fast weeaboo ninja man. So our goal today, we're going to go ahead and go through a bunch of VODs with him. We're going to call him up here in a bit. And then we're going to get as much information as we can. Hopefully nail down what exactly it is that he needs to work on and what's going wrong. I've got a bit of a theory from a brief glance so far, but we'll see how it goes. More information from him we can get as well is going to really help us diagnose basically what he needs to improve in order to stop losing to just so many dang chips. Now, I will also preface, I am by no means a Faust expert, but my hope is that we should be able to get at least some amount of things figured out and diagnosed, even regardless of being a super in-depth Faust specialist. So just giving overall perspective, theory crafting, and all that. So I'm by no means an expert Faust, but that's why we ask him questions and get a lot of information from him before we really make any true and proper diagnoses with that. So we're gonna have to wait a little bit. It looks like he's running a little bit behind, so I guess we're just killing some time. But in the meantime, let me actually double check. The public opinion is Faust v Chip a favored matchup. How does everybody online feel about this? So Chip versus Faust is a controversial matchup. Some people view it as good for Chip. Others view it, okay. Well, let's keep looking in, because an overall consensus about how everything feels. I'll ask Pip again directly once he's in here, how he feels about the matchup and where he feels weak, and we should be able to sort of figure out why that is. And we did also, I had him send me some of the replays here, but since Guilty Gear and fighting games in general aren't as good at sharing replays and all that kind of stuff, there was some glitchy type stuff when I was recording them, so the names are all completely jumbled and mixed with my own games. So sometimes it's just going to say my name, sometimes it's going to just say some random person I played online's name, but it's going to be Pip and whoever his opponent was in TNS. But let me check here. Chip. So the worst matchups include Chip. So it looks like there's not too much information about it, but from what I have seen, a lot of Fausts don't like the matchup, which probably makes sense. Most people don't really like matchups against Chip, especially if it's you have to play neutral differently because he's actually fast enough to get in there and deal with stuff. Now, let me check to see if he is ready. And then we'll hop in. I'll share some screens and we'll hop to it. Bump, bump, bump. Okay, he'll be here in just about a minute. I'll let him call me when he's ready. So, yeah, that's pretty much the plan today. Trying to think beforehand if there's anything else to mention. So we can go over here. So this is what we're going to be reviewing with him with. And we got our handy dandy notepad that we're going to write stuff down with. And he's got his own, apparently, physical notepad. Man, what an oldie, huh? Not really using the newfangled modern technology of notepad.txt. But but yeah, so hopefully, 'cause from what I've seen, it looks like, again, just from a rough glance, my theory is that it is neutral focused. Because what it looks like is that like he does well against the chips initially, as in like winning game one or maybe even game two, but then losing the rest all in a row. It seems. I couldn't actually see the order of the replays because again they're buggy, but which would tell me that the chips are giving him respect, and then as soon as they realize he doesn't deserve that respect, they just get away with murder. And then so like that's what I'm understanding it to mean. And we'll find out if that's true or not as we go in. But that would make sense to me, where it's like, hey, he's doing things in neutral that he shouldn't. And then once the chips pick up on it, they just start to roll him. And then, from there, they're rolling him and he doesn't know how to maybe earn that respect back. So, and this is just from a cursory look. We'll obviously update our assumptions and ideas of what possibly needs better as we review and go a lot more in depth. We've got a good amount of footage that we can go over today. All right, let's start the call. Okay. And I will share my screen with him as well.
Hey, there we go. Can you hear me?
Yes. Now we can hear you. Let me double check. Can you speak again?
Hello.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure OBS was also picking you up so you're on the stream as well.
Got it.
Hi, who are you? What do you do?
Hello. I am Hip. I am a fighting game player. And I am a Colorado's main Faust guy. Or just for the Wyoming, Colorado region in general.
Best Faust in the Midwest for sure.
Oh, hell yeah.
Possibly all the U.S. Possibly.
Potentially.
Potentially. I mean, you did place the best at Frosty Faustings out of all the Fausts. So, hey, that's something.
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. You, what was it, 17th, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so that's quite impressive. Because that was, I think there was, 1,000 people at that tournament? So 17th out of 1,000. And the highest placing on your character?
To be exact.
Ooh, he knows the number. He's serious.
Yeah, it's not like I've been that has resonated with me since I've been on that trip or anything. No, not
it's not like it's become a part of your identity, entering the fold and becoming who you are.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I haven't had like tons of people reach out to me saying, "Oh, good shit," just out of the blue.
Oh yeah. But fantastic. So today we're pretty much just going to go over all your stuff, but you said you wanted to focus a lot on the chip matchup specifically, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Because you're tired of losing to the weeaboo, the little fast ninja man. All right, good.
I am that speedy. He just gets me, bro. Like, cause I don't know. Since Frosty, like I have faced many good chips. And I have taken, I want to say, out of like the 4 different people I've faced, 1 game out of all of them.
Oof.
So kind of a problem I want to nip in the butt, to say the least.
Makes sense. All right, well, let me double check. We should be good to start getting into it. I have a quick question though. How do you feel about the chip matchup? Is it chip favored? Is it Faust favored? Is it pretty even, just kind of depending on how you play? Like, how do you feel about it?
I do think it is majority chip favored.
You think it is
I'm gonna be honest,
chip favored? Okay.
If I'm gonna be honest with how it feels for me right now, I want to say it's almost on like the level of like RAM and borderline chaos. Borderline
So you think it's
chaos. Is still,
actually like one of Faust's worst matchups, not just a bad matchup?
yeah.
Okay.
Just vibes from me right now. I know there is a chance I'm
Yeah.
like
Well, and do
dead
you know
wrong.
how other Fausts feel about it? Do a lot of them feel as strongly as that, or do a lot of them just feel like it's a little bit disadvantaged? But do you know at all? Because I know
I
you're in
think
like a Faust Discord or something. So
generally across the board, I think it's agreed upon. Like it's bad.
okay, but
I haven't
like how
like I
bad is
mean,
still up for debate, kind of a thing.
yeah, some people say it's like, oh, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna do it like exact numbers, but like slightly unfavored or just straight up unfavored. I
Gotcha.
think it is just more of like unfavored period.
Okay. All right, fair enough. I just wanted to get a feel for how you're feeling about the matchup in general before we jump into watching you against Eno, because that's just how I ordered this. So,
Yeah. Well,
uh,
bad. Let's put it that way.
yeah, but yeah. So this is against Havoc Noah. He was ninth at Combo Breaker, correct? If I'm remembering
Yeah, he
right.
was. I can't
So
remember his
he's also
stat
no
or
joke as far as like another good player. So
yeah, and I
regardless
think
of character, I mean player matchup, you guys are both pretty strong.
oh yeah, for sure. And I think there's a thing with this particular match, not to like discredit myself or anything, but
Hmm.
um Noah going into this match, I think this might be one of the last times Noah represents the Eno in bracket at least.
Right? Hasn't Noah been talking about switching as well?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he put out a tweet like right after I guess our this particular set like
Hmm.
yeah, no, he's kind of low on the Eno right
Did a bit
now
of
and
a little bit of rage tweeting. From what I
yeah,
understand, this
yeah.
was one of the rare moments where he got tilted more towards the end of the set. Correct? Which is
Yeah, no,
sort of rare for him, but players get tilted sometimes, and kind of want to see maybe how that affects his play, kind of a thing.
yeah, exactly. And I guess if the Eno does come out, because like Eno, I guess traditionally for me has been one I've struggled with until I
Hmm.
learned the fuzzy.
Right,
So I
and
guess I just want to see like stuff
okay,
I'm like doing better, stuff I could
yeah.
improve.
Well, I suppose the goal here would then be to find you your fuzzy against Chip, the thing that sort of makes you think, oh, this was really bad until. So that I guess
Yeah,
that's a good idea to hopefully get to. So for the very first thing, I noticed so all of the Akihabara ones, you did a button check before your match.
yes,
Um,
every single one.
yes, I noticed, and honestly, kudos. I think that's a very good idea. I love that. That's good shit. I know we've talked about that before.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
where anytime you want to just do a button check, it's usually worth it. Helps get some nerves out, warm up the hands, get
Yeah, I
ready.
kind of do it for quarter circle warm up almost.
Hmm. All right, so jumping right in. So you're against an Eno. What's the round start situation like against an Eno as Faust?
So typically with Eno, the main thing in the matchup you gotta look for is like Faust doesn't really have like I guess one entirely dominant option. Um I want to say well 2P is easily the safest option because if Eno does like a quick like jump slash in something like that 2P recovers in time to block
Okay,
along with like say if she does like I don't know like um chemical love just straight off the bat.
gotcha. So anytime you need to do a safer option, you'll probably just end up going with like something like 2P generally.
Yeah.
Okay. And
And if
and this one's not like you don't have like a dominant but like one particular move that they just kind of have to deal with. It's more of like oh well, am I going to do this one or this one? You just kind of have to mix it up.
yeah, and other
Gotcha.
ones you'll see me use in all my sets are I have if I'm looking to go for like okay, I just want to straight up put you in disadvantage right away. Um, I'll bust out 5K since it'll like catch is with how quick it is. It'll
Hmm.
catch like a quick little jump in, and usually will lead to a wall break just because that's just how she likes to get in.
Yeah. Okay.
And interestingly, I also find just doing 5H off rip is also pretty strong.
It just hits at a good time / range, you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess it just hits at like a good height and
True, yeah,
speed.
because she does have that hover dash, so a lot of more like low things might end up
Because like
whiffing.
yeah, because like yeah, it'll lose to like hard call outs like stroke or whatever, but
So you just kind of have to engage in some rock paper scissors as the round start.
yeah, pretty much. Because like if there's one particular one I think I do like a 5H where it like outright trades. Or, like it like trades favorably because like 5H on air hit is insane.
Okay.
Because like that sends you full screen.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So
All right. Well, I
so
guess.
yeah, no, it's pretty interesting.
All right. So opening up with the 5P there,
Oh yeah.
just blocking some Eno pressure. It looks like.
Mm.
So right there. So that is that something you normally do against Eno? You just kind of wait on your item because of
Yes,
the
because
chemical love being represented.
there's something in particular about I guess just doing block strings against Eno, like, because like with some characters you could get away with, not, um, well, with like autopiloting, like,
Mm-hmm.
um,
Just like
specials on
doing your
block.
standard block string against a character that's not necessarily like victim to the same string as everyone else.
Yeah, exactly, and Eno has a very easy time. I because like she chemical love reversal, like if I go to like do like 5H and like anything after that,
Yeah.
we'll lose. I mean, we'll beat like
Mm-hmm.
pretty much
Yeah,
everything.
it's huge. It's disjointed. Anything that's tall enough to be in range of that, you better make sure what you're doing is safe, right?
Yeah, I think the
Otherwise,
only
she hits you with it, and then she starts her side.
yeah. And I think the only exception is thrust, but like that's not doing thrust in a block string. I think is sketchy anyways because
Mm-hmm.
um, what you could do is you could kind of like almost I don't know if this is a good word for it, but like option select it because like you see like a 5H and you just air dash in. If
Mm-hmm.
I item toss, I'm fucked. And
Okay.
if I do thrust, I'm also kind of screwed over. So
All right. Fair enough. So you just kind of have to be a lot more conscious of your block strings against Eno here.
because like if I do nothing, I can't get punished.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I could really do if I want to like outright punish it is like scarecrow, but I have to be like metered for that at the very
Gotcha.
least.
Okay. All right. Well, let's continue. So good mashes. So after the command grab, Eno doesn't have a reverse or anything, so you're safe to just do all your stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened here? Okay, so going in for your strings.
One sec. You're streaming this on your YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Do you
think
need
I
a
might
link?
switch to that because Discord is very
Discord's not
fuzzy to
looking
me.
good. Bad quality for you.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, we'll stop doing it through Discord. I'll send you a
Yeah,
link
give
to
me a quick sec.
the
Luckily I already
stream.
have YouTube tabbed up anyways.
Cool. I already
Oh,
got to
with
see
Mario
it.
Party music. Okay, of course.
Alrighty, there's a
Oh,
link.
I love that thumbnail.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, oh my god, I love. Okay, I'm sorry.
Thank you. I pride myself on my thumbnails.
Of course. All right. We here.
Okay, we're here. Well, okay, good. So, what I was just trying to bring up was this here. Is so you did 2K into something, and she called you out with a low. So this was 2K into, I assume, maybe just run up for something?
Oh, okay. I remember what I did there. I was going to go for another 2K. The
You're
thing
trying to
about
stagger 2Ks. Okay.
oh yeah, exactly. And the thing about like 2K into 2K is like there is a pretty decently big gap. Because like, and it's kind of like an inconsistent one at that because what is it? Top hit of 5K.
Yeah.
That is a mid, which is a 5 framer. And on some characters, it just straight or if you're like out of range, it just straight up whiffs most of the time if you're like trying to do it in like say like 2K from a range, right?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I had to take a breath.
Well, I do think though, at least in this scenario, I think 5K is actually totally like a good call, especially because of Afro. But like, because 2K, if I'm right, starts a lot closer and then goes farther out as far as hitboxes, right?
Yeah, and
so it should technically hit faster if it's 5K, and so you can do like 5K into dust for a stagger or something. But
yeah, like it hits faster by a frame, which makes world of difference.
Oh yeah, in like mashing scenarios, that's a big deal.
Yeah, and I think actually, like I would have counter hit too because I imagine because of like hitbox shifting, whatever. I probably would have like high profiled it.
Yeah, well, good chance, and also just because.
Oh wait a minute, hold on. Go back by like a frame.
Which one?
Back.
So where are you trying to look at during the 2K?
Right after the 2K.
Right after the 2K.
Yeah.
Where you're like running forward.
Yeah.
So you're moving forward, and Eno has started her 2K.
Yeah. One more. I did 5K. That's a 5K frame.
So that was a 5K. Okay.
Okay. So my theory was wrong.
So okay. All right. Well, then I guess throw all that out. But okay. So, and to be fair, I'm just asking some questions to try and get a little bit more of the Faust knowledge before we kind of get too far into it, because. So just stuff. Sometimes you just kind of get mashed on. Unfortunate in the corner.
Again, nice trade.
Because this was I believe, wasn't this a mid? Wasn't this just her close slash? Yeah. What were you trying to mash? Or I guess if you remember, but.
So I know exactly what I was doing. I'm like, okay, even if I get hit here, Afro is going to explode, and he is not blocking it. I am going to mash 5K in order to try to pick up, which I do.
Well, let me double check, because I'm mostly referring to right here in the corner where you got counter hit, where the Afro's already done. Yeah.
I'll admit that was just me panicking right there.
Yeah, and I guess quickly I'll briefly mention, make sure on the YouTube player you're at modern, because the YouTube player can actually DVR and play from behind. So like you can go back like a minute in time while it's live. So it's just kind of like a special feature it has, but I just want to make sure you're at live, basically.
Yeah, I'm at live.
Okay.
At live.
Just wanted to make sure so that we don't like desync or anything.
Yeah, of course.
But no, yeah, because here you just kind of got hit by close slash. Because like I understand if it was an Eno mix, but I mean, at what point? Because you got plenty of health to work with. You can just say, well, I'll just block. This isn't like an actual mix up.
Yeah,
so, like,
typically,
it's a good idea.
Normally I do block that because Mix has this like annoying quirk, especially with what is it, Kara Mix, where like against Burst, if you're like near the corner, you'll just end up getting cornered yourself just because of like the momentum you have.
Yeah. Well,
and but I think in the beginning here it was like just pure nerves against just going against Noah.
You were just kind of nervous, so you're like, well, I better do something. You don't want to just sit blocking against an Eno.
Quickly grab and reverse the situation.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of it is you should probably be on the lookout of because yes, Eno's scary, but only when she's doing mix up, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I recognize that I'm completely safe here. If you just held down back, you'd have been completely fine. Because again, this is just close slash. She can go into like the only high low she really has from that is pretty much like sweep or dust. So you're pretty safe to just block there, maybe FD, get some distance, and then use your really good light buttons to like just mash out if she tries to hover dash in, and then you should be able to theoretically get out of the corner. And that's probably just like very like it's technically very minor stuff, but it's very important against Eno to sort of understand what is real mix and what is kind of just there, right? Because at this point, because this is sort of like Noah saying, I want to just keep you in the corner and maintain pressure, but there was no actual mix up on it. So he wasn't trying to open you up; he was just trying to keep you in the corner, right?
Exactly. Make me behave.
Exactly right. He's just kind of saying, hey, sit down and rest a minute. But you weren't under any real direct pressure.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know. I.
Yeah, and then now now you're getting all the corner mix.
Yeah, which is why it didn't burst there. Because I'm like, okay, I kind of screwed up.
Yeah. Absolutely, and then you get in with your mix. Mini Faust, this means that Noah has to respect whatever you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like you start doing some of your own mix-ups. And do you know the trick of how to keep somebody in the corner without like maintaining pressure? Sort of like where you should be?
Threaten my distance, because I know with what is it? My far slash, if I keep like a certain distance, and because like I could either like threaten like far slash 2H or like a quick jump H, and they're just kind of like stuffed for room for the most part.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And the ideal place to stand is exactly where it is paused right now, directly underneath the timer.
Yeah, and one thing I realized, like,
because
I kind of underutilized for the most part is what is it? Just using far slash in general in this matchup, because
yes, it would be a very powerful button.
It is because like at this distance right here, I think it would have been like perfect. And maybe I do. I don't quite remember how this plays out, but I know against Eno, it's a button I get scared to throw out because she could both high and low profile at like depending on what she decides to go for.
So you're wary of going for high buttons and low buttons because she could choose either.
Exactly.
Right. Well, the best thing there is you gotta know. So even if you're pressing far slash from this distance, right? You control the distance, so you can make it unwhiffable, right? Meaning the only way she can dodge it is to stroke, and if she lands, and I mean, if it's a heavy stroke, you recover in time and you block, and she's minus. If it's the fast stroke, she doesn't get anything off of it. So the risk
maybe
reward,
like a little counter hit, but
right. But even then, if she's low profiling it, I'm not sure it's fast enough for a counter hit. It might just be punish.
Okay.
Because the thing on that one would be the risk reward is so the risk you take for pressing far slash is that she might hit you with fast stroke and deal a little bit of damage and be a little bit farther away from the corner, but she's still closer to the corner than you are.
Yep.
Or
and I'm not in threat of like dying just because she doesn't have the meter to make
right, exactly, because you have plenty of health. You can totally play with that. Or you block H stroke and it's your turn still, and you just put her back in the corner. So you're at risk for losing almost nothing for using far slash as your primary button. Whereas if you do something like 2H, which does always catch stroke and is a low, if she like jumps out or hover dashes at you, her reward is huge, right? Because she gets like, oh, I just landed a jump, a jumping slash, and I just go full combo into dive kick, and then I'm out of the corner, and I got a combo, and maybe even Oki. So, and that's just one of those things where it's like you just sit down and you think, okay, so risk reward, you don't really have a reason not to just stand under the timer and press far slash, because then it's up to Noah to figure out a way out, and then if Noah starts to get impatient, then you can just start whipping out some of the faster buttons, so you just can't get hit by like low or slow stroke. So you can just be like, oh, well, now I'll start 2P'ing sometimes, or I'll hit, I'll just sweep you from full screen, because Faust has a pretty long sweep.
Yeah, he
so
does.
Like your range against Eno is really, really strong. You're basically Ramlethal in this matchup. You just stand under the timer and swing, and Eno has to sit there and take it for a good chunk of it, because a lot of
Probably
your
you're
stuff
right.
has like pretty reasonable disjoints as well, right?
Yeah, she does.
Hmm. So it's like you should have a pretty easy time once she's cornered. If you just don't get impatient and you just very like it might sound lame, but just stand under the timer and say you're never leaving this corner. Good luck. The Eno is just going to either fold, block forever, and then things are getting bad because you're chipping her out slowly or whatever nonsense, or she's going to get impatient and do something risky. And the moment she is impatient and does something risky, you get a massive combo. And since you're not at the corner, it's a corner combo, so extra damage and a wall break.
True. And in this case, death. Um, I don't quite remember what I do here. Because like me,
Would you like to take a guess? See if you're still feeling the same way.
I think because I did a 2K right after that. Um, I think I do actually try to far slash.
You think this is far slash time? Okay.
I think I
Air
don't quite
dash
remember.
in overhead.
Which ultimately led to my yep.
Yep. So you did get the kill off of it. But what if she had chosen, because again, you keep her locked down, where her pretty much her main escapes are actually stroke, which means
Yeah, which
that if her escape is stroke and you just did that, you just swapped corners with her,
yeah, exactly.
and then so now
'Cause I'm
you're
not able
cornered against
to.
an Eno. So of all the options, I think that like an air dash in is probably one of the really bad ones. If anything, I would say like just jump without an air dash, or like just jump dust, or something
Yeah,
that's not as like committal or forward moving.
yeah, just threaten my range, threaten my
Right,
range.
exactly. You have the long limb advantage,
Hmm.
so you might as well use it because Eno's a stubby character. Her strength is up close, but you can absolutely play outside of that range, and especially in the corner where you control all of the range and she has no input on how far away from each other you are.
Yeah,
That's when
because
you
with
can
her,
really make her life hell.
hmm especially since like when I'm at that range too, I kind of like make her what is it? Her chemical love like almost invalid because like normally at like a mid range where she's like out of it, becomes really annoying to get around.
Hmm.
Um and the nice thing with Faust is that he could actually run underneath it and just really go in and just get at her for it.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so that's my first recommendation is if you ever corner Eno, just back off and just start poking at her because you become Ramlethal, right? And like
Yeah.
if you think about how hard it is to deal with Ramlethal's pressure, because her range is so much better than everyone else's. That's why she feels so strong when you're in the corner because well she can do things and you can't, and that it's that simple. And in this matchup, you can become Ramlethal.
Yeah. Well, and which is actually crazy because my far slash actually comes out faster and is recovers faster than
So it's a little
fucking.
bit faster than I'm sure her
Yeah.
disjoint's insane though, but
Oh, it is. It is. I hate it.
but still overall pretty good there.
Oh,
I
and
think this is
there's one
just.
thing in this particular, I guess, sets
Mhm.
that Noah really didn't like go after, and it's this little string right here where I go for like close slash into jump heavy. I don't think he actually went in and tried to 6P me for that. So I kind of
Doesn't look
get
like it.
away with murder in a way.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. I mean, it seems like it because it's what was it? It was a close slash, counter hit into a was I assume a safe jump dust into a
Hmm.
close slash jump heavy. Yeah, yeah. Just like normal jump during pressure to sort of get some overheads.
Yeah, and it's fine for like I guess for me to get away with a few. That's just
Yeah,
like
and that's
the
the
nature.
nature of the beast, you know.
Yeah, but like if I recall, I remember I just really got away with like murder in some cases, mainly in like later sets or later games.
Hmm. And that's absolutely how something goes, especially like we were mentioning, as somebody can, tilt out or become impatient, you can start getting away with so much more. And that's
Hmm.
actually likely one of the reasons why you're having a lot of trouble with Chip right now, is because Chip is likely just tilting you.
Yes,
and
yes.
then and then the moment you're tilted or impatient at all,
It's
they can
over.
start getting away with all the murder.
Good, yeah, because Millie has got a
But yeah,
great
Which
absolutely.
is
fight style.
absolutely
Oh,
true in
yeah,
my case because
Yeah.
I have a little problem with that.
Yep. But to be fair, you'll find yourself getting away with that type of overhead shenanigans a lot, because you'll have the thing where they're busy trying to look out for your lows, because you'll often go 2K into 2D, that kind of like combo stuff, and then so you jump and suddenly they'll panic. So the first thing on their mind is block high, not 6P.
Hmm.
Right, so
Oh,
you'll find that hits often.
yeah, yeah. Right there, I got caught with 2P in the 6H, which is so fake. It is. Because
Yeah.
right here, I'm not back up a bit.
Did you wanted to look at the 2P6H or before that?
A little further than that, because I was actually rolling pretty hot. Like I want to say about like 10 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah, a little
So
further
where
than
she's
that.
dive kicking with the afro?
Yeah, before the stroke.
Before the stroke, okay.
Oh, what a burst.
Alrighty, so what did you want to look at before the stroke?
Right here. I item toss from a burst, which it's like every Faust's nasty habit.
Right. And to be fair, that was something I was going to mention, because I know I actually just get you with that a lot, and you just kind of need to know which characters you can't. Spoilers,
Yeah.
Chip is a character you can't get away with that.
And oh,
Because in
yeah,
the same way, like
you'll see
Soul
me
has
do that.
Vortex, like some characters can just reach you in time. So you don't get a free item toss.
Yeah, and you could kind of get away with it, but
But Chemical Love is usually long enough that if she just kind of rolls in, she could get it.
yeah,
Depends.
in this case, he threw out a note pretty much immediately, and I'm already just trying to respect that because, like, I don't want to get caught in the mix again.
No,
And
absolutely.
here Eno is just trying to get out of the corner, expecting me fully to do like, okay, fishing for Joltte.
Yeah, there's an afro. I can't
Actually,
blame
you'll
you.
see that's kind of what won me the set. So
But,
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
yeah, but okay. So you just wanted to look at the burst into item toss.
And what I do afterwards, because I think I really mismanaged.
Yeah, it looks like you've done a double jump here. So you want to sort of just break down these interactions that are about to hit.
Yeah, I was expecting note to go high, so I was just
Yeah, it looks like it just kind of went mid this time.
yeah.
Okay, so you did an extra jump. Then you go for jump D, he dodges it with stroke. And then you choose to air dash chase instead of running up. Is there any particular reason?
Another habit.
You just kind of prefer to be in the air, you think?
Mainly because jump heavy is fucking obnoxious with Afro on, because it hits all crouchers, and it's I think like 9 frames coming out.
Okay, so
And
just that's an Afro decision.
yes, and I'm able to like throw it out low enough to where I could, like, if I'm like close enough, like immediately reestablish going for like high low again, which is like what I'm like trying to like do here. But if I recall, I think I do miss it.
Yeah, so it whiffs, and then because he double jumps back, and then he dive kicks to go to the other side. You actually can anti-air that. It's a little bit tricky, but you can. Or honestly, even better is to kind of air to air. I don't know. Does Faust have a good air to air that hits either up or forward like that?
Jump heavy.
So jump heavy, you think may have been able to hit there?
Yeah, it easily would have.
Because obviously,
I guess I just didn't think to do it.
Yeah, because one of the things is a lot of people. So Eno's dive kick, as well as like Soul's dive kick, Bandit Bringer, they can be stalled in the air to bait your anti-air button. But what they can't deal with is being air to aired, because whether you
Right.
send it or you stall, an air button can reach both. You just have to use a fast enough air button so that even if they don't stall it in the air, it can still hit them.
Yeah, exactly.
And Faust, I think, has strong enough buttons that he can kind of fight Eno in the air sometimes.
Yeah.
Like he's a strong enough air character that I wouldn't say you have to wait for her to come down.
Mainly just because of like how stupid of a button jump heavy is.
Yeah, I mean when you
'Cause-
got a really good button, you might as well abuse it, right? And
yeah,
then
because like the fact that it's just massive and can wall bounce, I mean, like in itself is just crazy.
for sure. And then so Noah also did a very smart thing because that dive kick is punishable, I believe, even if it's charged. Just because you didn't actually do anything and he didn't hit you, so you're just free to fully punish him. So obviously he RCs to make it safe.
That was so weird looking.
I
And
remember
then,
kind of being like psyched out here because I didn't expect to get grabbed. So that fast moment.
Yep. Low profile
So I
in the
think-
air. Yep. But yeah, so and that happens sometimes. You know, there's often like RC throw interactions that happen. There's not really anything too much to say there other than like, you know, because it looks like it also just wasn't even like a punish or a counter. You just kind of got thrown. You hadn't really done anything yet. Because he actually also canceled it early enough because it looked like a drift up, but it was definitely a drift RC of some kind. But he FRC canceled it into throw because he recognized that you weren't in motion at all.
Yeah, I guess I was just kind of like confused, like my brain kind of broke. Because like right there, 2S would have easily worked. I don't like anti-airing with it, if that makes sense.
Well, to be fair, yeah, because against Eno, she's not really as airborne as a lot of other characters when she's approaching, because she's a lot closer to the ground. So it's less of an anti-air, is more of just like kind of like a mid thing, right? The same reason like Far Slash is totally fine. But yeah, so you got thrown, and then she goes in for the mix-up, and you mash 2P on Wake Up.
I don't know why.
You're honestly kind of lucky, I think, that he went for Dust as it was sort of like a delayed overhead. Because I believe Slash hits low enough that you still would have gotten clocked.
Yeah, exactly.
But Dust, he kind of like basically does a little extra hop in order to get that in. So that was just kind of like a lucky interaction, it feels like.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure why. Because if anything, I feel like if you're gonna mash something, you should be mashing 5P.
Which would have worked.
Because it also hits at like the perfect height for Eno.
Yeah, right there. This is a counter hit 5P, which would have led into like Afro Explosion.
Yeah, it looks like at worst, you guys would have like counter hit either, well, not clashed, but traded.
Yeah,
but that's still completely favorable to you because that means the pressure is over.
Yeah, and I have the better range.
Because whoever's in the air when the trade happens is at disadvantage. Because they have to fall to the ground first. So absolutely, just a lucky interaction there, but you should probably still be mashing 5P instead of 2P. It's also like 1 frame faster. Matters sometimes.
And there's the 5P.
Yep. And then you start doing the 5Ps, which is good. And then this is where you go 5P, 5P, 2P, 6H.
Which is like... It's funny, because like, this is a string I never go for, or I try to never go for anymore, period.
Yeah.
Because like, ever since the 6P buff, like, there's like almost zero reason to like try to do this unless like...
Yeah.
You're just like out of range for 6P.
Yeah, because he didn't even need to super reversal to get you here.
No!
He could have very easily just done almost anything else.
He just did the most optimal thing against.
But the thing that I'm a little curious about is because so Eno has the Afro right now. Wouldn't you just want to get sweep so that you could light the Afro on fire with your safe jump?
Yeah, no, that's the thing, because like I could have led into like a hard knockdown. I had the hit. Like and I think if I were like to like rewind it.
Yeah, because I mean I guess at worst you like what would your knockdown be? Would be 5P, 5P, 6P?
Into mix.
Right, into mix, and then you do some kind of pressure that lights the Afro.
Yeah, OTG into jump D.
Right,
That would be what I would.
Right, and then so like I feel like this is just kind of like one of those things that you just kind of made a bad spur of the moment decision. You think?
Yeah, I did. I guess I was like, okay, the health is so close. I may as well try to like cheese this round out if I can.
Mm-hmm.
But not a good thing to try because like
As it
it bit me.
stands, you have to hold that mix. You actually block it well.
Mhm.
Is that a good YRC point? Let's take a look. So back up a little bit farther. So she comes in. She hits you with the jump slash.
Because I do it after the close slash.
Yeah. And then she lands and hits the close slash. So that's definitely probably not the best place for it. Because if the Eno reads it, she can just jump and block your burst. I'm not sure how advantage she is for that, but either way, because it's just, again, this is it. Eno's mix is not scary off of close slash.
No, it's
right?
mainly off of the jump in.
Right, so you blocked the jump in, which means that you're good to just hold down back and maybe like switch out to up if she does dust or she tries to stagger. But if she tries to stagger, you can also fuzzy mash 5p.
Right.
Because if she just goes close slash into like hover dash slash, that's 5pable.
Yeah.
So I would just say, oh, well, you can just down back and then fuzzy mash. And so there's less chance of you getting, YRC baited if she reads it. And because the YRC only works if you blocked it anyway. So
right.
You have no need to panic because if you could YRC, you already blocked it. Because if you got hit, mashing RC doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's just kind of like one of those panic moves. You could just have extra meter here.
Yeah, and along with proper meter buildup as well.
Yeah.
And I go for a 2K. Typically, it's kind of like my go-to, and he realized that.
Yeah.
And I burst here because I was like, okay, you know what? Got to risk it for the biscuit.
Mm-hmm.
I may as well try.
Yeah, absolutely.
And right here, I'm reading like, okay, I'm going to like try to like sneak a 6p in here somewhere.
Right. Okay.
Which is what I was doing because like I'm like, okay, 6p in the mix is going to win me here.
Yeah. Well, I feel like so this is a bit of what they call a hero burst.
Oh, this was yes.
Because if you look at it, if you lose this, you may not have burst for the final round.
No.
And it is way more important to have burst in the final round than it is to use it as like a risk reward to win the game here. Because this wasn't even like necessarily like that good of a hero burst because this is the same situation as that YRC was.
Right.
Right? It's almost the exact same situation. Only difference is that he was going for double overhead instead of landing. But even then, it looked like you were pretty much going to block it anyway. So it's just one of those things where it's like it's you have to keep an eye on when to. Honestly, you should probably just like, not like as a rule, but try not to hero burst as much as possible against high risk characters. Because if the enemy character has to take a lot of risks, why should you?
Really, I shouldn't.
Right. So it's like if they have to take risks to win. You should just say, okay, so that means that they are way more likely to make a mistake than I am. So you have no real reason to add extra risk to your gameplay. And that's one of the few ways you can just add risk out of nowhere is just like hero bursts or just panic pressing something or panic YRC or, whatever.
Right, which I think I represented like all at some point because I also had that like, I got bursting into the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, immediately press.
Yeah. Basically, you just have to like not let Eno intimidate you. You have to understand that like she takes real risk to do a lot of the things that she needs to do to open you up. And you just want to say to yourself, she has to make a risky call here to open me up. And if she does that, cool. If not, then she just loses. Because you both are in one hit scenario. And if she just didn't open you up on that combo, you have burst for next round if she somehow pulls a miracle. But after that pressure, then you're good.
Sorry, I just took giant notes.
No, you're good.
But he got punished for throwing the item. Greedy burst. I know.
Oh, what? Yeah, there's that item toss thing again.
Yep. You did the burst into item toss. And notice, so you're still in the, so I've rewind and paused it. Notice how you are still in the item toss animation. Look how close she got. You're in the corner.
She's there immediately.
Yeah. And so basically she just re-cornered you.
Pretty much.
So your burst did almost nothing because you chose to go for an item toss after. Like the hero burst is fine if you choose to take advantage of it, but you didn't actually reset to neutral.
Right.
You just
like,
sort
I
of
did item toss and I was like doing that, and I was bringing up that whole 6p thing, because I thought like, okay, I have enough time here.
Right.
No, clearly not.
Because effectively, what that burst did for you is what the same thing FD would have done, is put her around under the timer while you're in the corner. The only thing that would have theoretically bailed you out is luck, if you'd have pulled a good item.
I think hammer probably would have been the best one, but it's not like I could like
hammer or mini
determine RNG.
Right. But basically, again, you're just adding risk to your gameplay.
True.
Because you could either, like, after the burst, you can just start running up and you're a lot farther away from the corner and you're in neutral. So you can actually just fight her neutral. Because if she reaches this distance towards you, you can press far slash. If you weren't in the item through animation, you can just far slash her. And then she either has to block it or she's fine. Or she just gets hit and literally dies because she has no health.
Right.
So by item throwing, you're adding the element of RNG to this round where it didn't need to be. Right? So it's like, oh, if you get a good item, you just win the round. But if you get a bad item, you just wasted a burst on this round when you won't have it for next round either. So that's just kind of like, there's more layers than it just being a hero burst. You know what I'm saying?
Right, because like I'm like,
so it's like you did like
2 inherent like huge risks,
right back to back. Technically 3 in a row, because you did a pretty mediocre YRC, you did a bad burst followed by a bad post burst decision. So you basically just threw this round. I don't know if you actually win this round or not. I guess no, you lose this round, and that's entirely on you. And you might lose the next round because of your decision in this round.
I think it actually might have punished me straight up.
But he got punished for throwing the item.
Let's see if it says punish. It doesn't say punish.
It's like
you must have just recovered and might have been trying to do something else.
Yeah, and it's like at that point, like.
But you literally just let her get in on you again, right? So you just have to be very mindful of that.
I didn't want it.
Mm-hmm. So again, you just took 3 back-to-back risky decisions when you're in a position where you don't have to play risky to win, where your opponent does.
Right.
So the risk reward is skewed in your favor. You can take no risk and you have a lot higher reward, but you just chose to take all the risks in a row and you got punished for it. And there's a good chance you lose the next round because of your decision in this round.
I'll kind of spoil this next one. It was a very, very, very close one that I won.
Okay.
Yep, and there's that 2p thing I was talking about.
Yep. Okay, so you've been cornered again. There's a good 5p mash. That's the strong shit. That's what we like.
Yep.
Into the air dash follow-up. So that does seem like a big habit of yours. People can probably pick up on that and start just mashing their like 5ps pretty much.
So I do have
because you pretty much always try to air dash in whenever it's like kind of scrambly.
And right here, I land another snip. It's kind of a little setup I go for because you're still threatened by jump 2k for the Gatling.
Yeah, and you know the reward for landing the snip is a lot, like really high. Because again, you just start Afro burning, you get an entire another pressure string, like you just start going.
And right here, I'm just kind of in like twerk mode.
Yep, and then so now you have her in the corner again. But I would like to note, so you are like all in, I need to rush you and I need to pressure you. So we mentioned this earlier, where you have the range advantage, so you have no reason to run in. And again, her primary escape from this is going to be her low profiles or jumping.
Right.
But if she low profiles, you just swapped corners with her because you jumped. And if she jumps, you met her in the air, and she's even more minus than she would have been. So it's just one of those things where it's, again, you just have to look at like what do you get for playing this way, and what does the opponent get. But it's just
really,
more of
like,
that same that we were talking about of, just you abuse your range.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't, and this string is inherently risky, especially with that like meter to like really cover.
Yep. All right, and then so it looks like
I
this is
tried
just a
to
combo
do the full
drop.
combo. So the combo route that I was going for here is into jump 2K because I was trying to kill with super at the end. And
Okay.
if you want to go for like max damage, I guess with like the route I like to go for, what is it? Jump slash, jump D, jump cancel, jump 2K, will wall stick there, and it does more damage than your normal like mix loop.
Right. So you're just
And
trying to go for like a specific type of optimal combo, and it just kind of dropped.
Yeah, and in that case, it definitely would have killed just because of the risk, built up.
Because the risk that she had before that, and then super wall break finisher. So okay.
Yeah, and I just fucked it up, and I know I did, and I think
not
I did
really
like
much to say there. Just I don't know, don't drop your combos.
yeah, it's
that's all that
better
really.
combo.
That's all I could really say about that one.
And I think I panic item toss here.
Yeah. So
Or backdash. Yeah.
so you both end up with 1 meter, and then you see how he's in the corner, and he look at the range you're at. What does he try to do? He feels the need to stroke out.
Yep.
And like I said, that's because at that range, stroke is one of his only options out. Because Ino can't air dash out like normal characters. Because her air dash angles downward.
Yeah, which is
So if she gets
in the
out, she has
matchup.
to like double jump or like do some other weird shenanigans or stroke. So she's a lot more limited in getting out of those types of scenarios than like even a normal character would be. Because like if I was on Soul and I just neutral jump, I can just jump again Bandit Bringer, or I can, jump again, or I can just air dash out, and my air dash is straight. So like if you're not looking for it, I can just get out. But since hers is angled more down, if you're at this range and you're pressing your long button, she kind of just has to hold that.
Yeah, because 2H would have like secured this round just like right here.
Right. Yeah, it could have secured the round. So this is where you're at a range where far slash doesn't hit, so you kind of have to do your 2H or your scalpel pulley thing.
Yeah.
Faust expert here, scalpel pulley thing. That's the official term.
Thrust.
Thrust,
Which
yeah.
doing raw thrust generally isn't like
Right. Not usually a good idea, especially against a character that does have a low profile.
Yeah.
And a godly
Usually
6p.
Usually it's only good in like a scenario where like I'm kind of doing like a little like okay, say I have like Geo full screen and none of us are pressing a button and we're kind of doing this like little walk back and forth
The
dance.
footsies, yeah.
And it's like, okay, block this random thrust I am throwing out, which reaches where you are.
Yeah. Using like an extra long range but unsafe move to catch your opponent off guard is kind of like that's some good footsies. But no, I just wanted to pause and point out that notice how the Ino felt they needed to stroke to get out of the corner.
Right.
So again, just trying to reaffirm that into your brain that like when you, especially against Ino specifically, when you have them in the corner, just don't let up at range. Don't run in for no reason.
Big counter hit. Yep.
Yeah, and I get counter hit here because I wasn't expecting it.
Yep.
Oh, no, he's okay.
Yeah, the RC in into 2D. Sometimes you just get caught. There's nothing too bad about that. Good call on the gold burst from him. Good call on the burst from you though, because you did manage to get it back in time, and you're pretty much at a similar scenario to what it was last round. But you have item advantage. Yep, into like a snip.
And the run-up grab from all the
Yep.
shenanigans. Nope.
Predicted.
But notice how good it could have been for you. If so, you're doing this, you're keeping the corner, you're doing all this stuff. If, okay. I went too far. Where the Ino strokes out of the corner and then moves forward and hits you here. If you could just burst her back into the corner.
Yeah.
So if you just like,
I noticed I still haven't built up that burst.
yep, you only
all.
build it up basically when you have no health left.
The nerves. Oh,
And
no,
if the
no,
Eno was
nerves.
looking out for it when you built it,
Yep.
let's see, they probably should have been able to bait it. Because I believe it was actually, it might have been during, because there was a large scramble here that happened. Yep, gold burst
Yeah. Okay.
into
So
the
this
super,
is
yeah.
I knew he was gonna do run up super, so I gold burst at the last possible second.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I'm not sure if you hear it, but the crowd really popped off when that happened.
Yeah, for sure. And to be
Yeah,
fair,
I
like
literally
that's
did it
not
last
necessarily
game.
a bad use of it here, but it could have been used to where you still had half your health left, right? So like
Yeah,
you wouldn't have had to need to like scrappily use it here for the super. You could have, I mean, hell, done your own super in return because you'd have extra health to play with or something, you know, or
Yeah.
just RC block and then finish because she has no health.
Mhm.
So it ended up working out for you because it turned into a slugfest. But if she took advantage in the beginning of the game, you would have no health and no burst.
Okay.
Right, but because it ended up being a little bit more drawn out, you managed to get the burst in time, and you used that leverage to win. So that, to be fair, that was a good call to use it in the end, and like the way you used it, that was good.
Right.
But there's a couple points in this round where having the burst could have meant you were never this low to begin with.
Uh-huh. Hey, and just inherently take less risks. Because,
Right.
like, gold burst in a super here is crazy.
Oh, but the banana bomb? Oh, but he's got a throw now. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then you get some good items, but if you're throwing 5 items, odd that 2 of them are good is pretty high.
But now you gotta hold.
Yeah, and I think snip was a pretty safe call, because if I missed it, I still had a meter to work with.
Exactly. So like if you miss it, you can, oh shit, I like react RC or do something. Because most likely if you miss it, it's because he jumped.
Uh-huh.
Because and then you just, RC and then just air throw him or RC 5p. And he's screwed. So you kind of ended up in a checkmate scenario there because especially because your burst ended up being gold.
True.
I mean, that's probably the most pip win I've seen.
And I had to take like a minute here because like I'm like
Because it
oh
ended
my
up super
God.
scrambly at the end, yeah.
And I do not do well with scrambles because like
Oh, yeah, no one knew
like
what was
like
going on, honestly.
just look at how much time I took.
Yeah.
Oh, what a.
So then this one right here I did lose. I was specifically trying to go after like a hard call out on jumping, but I also was never in a million years expecting that round start.
6H. Well, 6H
Which
is
in
actually
fairness,
a
is
pretty
a good round
pretty okay round start for
I
It
guess
has,
if
it
that's
has a
what, like,
fast hitbox if they extend into yours, and then it also hits like low enough and reasonable enough on the second hit.
Oh, what a hit.
But you can just cancel it early if you get like a counter hit like that. And then so you're in the blender. Quick burst. That's actually a great idea. And let's see if you item throw.
All right, here we go. Gets the.
Well.
I do.
well.
And I get lucky.
You
Don't
get
get me
lucky
wrong.
that it's meteors, and then you go into 6p. And then burst, meteors missed, so it didn't really matter. But did you see? But you did it again though. So you bursted to stop being in her pressure and to get out of the corner, and then you sort of waste it by staying in the corner. Because the burst isn't just to return to neutral; it's also to like get away from the corner against a character that's really good in the corner. And if
item
you throw an
drop-
item, you're not moving. Like you can't move your legs and throw an item at the same time.
Yeah, item toss after a burst, basically.
It's like a really bad habit. It seems like.
Well, and it kind of like solidifies like, okay, I am staying in this
Yeah.
corner.
And like it's totally fine if you're not in the corner. If you're not in the corner and the character can't like come up and punish you or something, I think it's 100% fine. It's good. But if
It's
you're in the
not-
corner, take that time to get yourself out of the corner or at least run forward so that you're not all the way in the corner. Right? So you have some room to play with.
Right.
So that you can actually just play neutral instead of playing, cornered neutral. But
True.
so that's one of the biggest things is it's not just like, oh, this character can punish me for doing it, I shouldn't do it. It's also, hey, where am I on the screen?
Oh, and that was a messed up super PRC right there.
Just execution error.
Yeah.
Meteor goes for same side scarecrow.
Because like you'll actually notice in this set I do not go for cross up once. But it's because like I'm kind of one thing I was really trying to establish is like, okay, I I am going to keep going for this, and I'm going to make you mix yourself up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Well, again,
think
like
right there, I
I
had a
like
bar to work with.
yeah.
I definitely could convert it. I just didn't see it in the moment, I guess.
Okay.
Hammer low key the best item, I think.
Round start
Well, got that done
Scarecrow.
real quick.
Huh?
Oh, that was a misinput.
Ah, I see.
So it was a P Scarecrow. I was
so you were
doing
just trying to mash one of the punches.
2P.
Gotcha. Okay. That happens sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now you're back in the corner under the pressure. You're in the grinder. All right, you get a good 2K, and now you're out.
Uh-huh.
So now you're just trying to figure out how to open up the Eno. You go for a relatively interesting set of block strings here. So you get out, you go for 2K into air dash in, jump button into stand there. Menacingly.
Yeah, I was kind of doing that as like a check, like, okay, are you gonna backdash here? Are you gonna press? What?
Yep.
Just kind of like getting like a read in.
Gotcha. Okay.
Just to see if like I could get away with like more like snips if possible.
Yeah. Absolutely. You know, Eno does what she does. Sometimes you get open.
And right here I am
And you
completely
didn't burst
stuck with
at all.
burst.
So last round you were too eager on burst. This time you're just not bursting.
Yeah. And I think like I could have done burst like right after like this counter hit.
Yeah, as soon as you get like that big counter hit, you go for the burst.
Uh-huh.
Because in order to bait it, she has to give up a lot. And she has no reason to bait it, considering that you are basically forced to burst. Right? Like you're pretty much forced to use it. Like you're just expecting your opponent to choose to do a suboptimal combo because they're afraid of it. But more often than not, the better players will just do their combo and just make you use the burst. Because rather than try to bait it out and like get that sick play, if I just do it, then they'll burst, and then they just don't have burst, and I win the next scenario anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Again, it's about adding risks to where you don't have to take any. Because they're at no risk for baiting the burst, unless you don't burst, and then you have burst still, and they don't win the game. Whereas if they just do their combo, they either win the game or get bursted.
And
so
well,
either scenario is still advantaged.
Yeah, they don't need to bait the burst either.
Exactly. So there's no real reason to hold it. Like occasionally, if you get like too obvious, or like just find a good time to burst. But try to make sure you can. I mean, sometimes the combos can be like, oh, is this too high? Am I actually going to hit them? And I mean, sometimes it'd be like that. So if you, as long as you like use your judgment on it, and you're like, I chose not to because I didn't think it would work, that's fine. Just
right.
Building up your judgment, using it. Okay, now you're
there's
cornered.
that 5H I was talking about.
Yep.
There it is again.
Yep. Yeah, and see, notice how you got out of the corner, and notice how Eno can't do that. just want to point that out. So you can like double jump and use like a big thing. She can double jump and dive kick, but your buttons are big enough to stop her.
Uh-huh.
Because she also doesn't go as high off the ground as you do. All right, good 5P mash. That's the kind of stuff you're looking for. 2 items.
Yeah, and that's another thing in the matchup specifically. I really gotta like stop too, because like
again,
typically you just want to go with just one and then start going back in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like against most characters you could get 2, but not
yeah, right. And that's a character specific thing where you're like, oh, I have to stop after one item, and then start playing neutral. Because if I throw another, I just get like literally punished. It's not even like, oh well, it's a neutral game. It's just literally getting hit. So yeah, that's just another character specific judgment thing where you're like, oh, I can't get away with this, or like, oh, a hammer usually means I get another free item, but not against X character.
And here I also remember to use my meter, which is good.
Yep.
Oh, and I stuff out with my air to air.
is true. And then you don't want to play
Yep,
neutral.
and then
again.
you get mixed. Welcome to the corner. Good
my
5p
gosh,
mash.
Noah misses the meter.
Good whiff punish 5p.
Yep, yep.
Right.
All right, round start 5k, gets stuffed. That
6B,
happens.
one of the best ones. So good.
Again, like you said, you have to rotate options, so does she, so you win some, you lose some.
Hitbox is ridiculous. Mix into items, banana, not what you want to
If you get really good and you adapt to the player fast enough, you'll start to get an idea of which round starts they'll go for based on how they're feeling.
Right.
Because you'll take
Which
a
I think is
riskier
really
round start if you feel like
of.
you need it.
Right. And you'll see me kind of call out like a round start, which I kind of the rare one I was kind of talking about. Because like I do think I get like a good feel. I'm like, okay, what do I? Well, I'm like, what to use when, but like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
Now, did you see what you did right here? This was actually so good. Technically, you only did it because 100 ton was coming down, but this is the type of thing you need to do. So, okay, you've got her cornered. You threw an item. It's 100 ton. You see her jump. So you say, no, you're staying in that corner. You jump and hit heavy.
Yep.
And you jump back and hit heavy. So you're just saying stay in the corner. You're not actually trying to combo her or do anything crazy. And so, like, that's the type of stuff you need to do. If she jumps, just jump and hit H. If she stays on the ground, just hit far slash. You know, sometimes hit 2P to check stroke. You know, do all kinds of that stuff. And just keep her at bay. And so, like, you did a little bit of it there. And notice now how bad of a position he's in. Because you were able to use that meter.
Well, yep. Then I use it on BRC item, which is
Which is totally fine.
yeah, no, it's super good.
Yeah, and then you get your
And then
afro.
it's a 50-50.
I would have liked to have seen a bait from Pip.
So let's see. So this scenario here. So you get bursted, and then you try to scarecrow back in. To, I assume, keep the corner, but Noah manages to get out.
Yeah.
And then you just
I
keep...
reali-
Yeah, go ahead.
what I was expecting to happen here, that was just kind of like a misjudgment of like how the interaction with Scarecrow was going to work. Because I'm going for full charge P Scarecrow, which is +7. And I was just trying to like, I guess, keep the pressure going. I guess she was just slightly out of range in the end.
Yeah. And then, you know, you get stuffed in the blender. He misses, though, so you get out of the corner for free. So that's the good shit. That's that crisp gameplay. So you spend a lot of meter here. This feels desperate. This feels desperate. You're saying, how the fuck do I open you up?
I think I would have been doing BRC was a fine call if I didn't also try to do 6H. Because like yeah, there I'm kind of like forced to special cancel or die.
Yeah.
Because like I could have easily just like set for like high low.
Yep.
Right there, but no.
Yeah, you still ended up getting it out, but you did waste a lot of your meter, which kind of opens it up to where she could pull something out of her ass, but it's not that big of a deal. You just want to be careful about it. Just be mindful of your meter. That wasn't necessarily bad or good. It was just kind of you just spent all of it really fast, which also again. It just reeked of desperation of I need you dead now.
Yeah, kind of like that burst right there.
Right, which again, anytime that like your movements in game convey a specific emotion, your opponent can pick up on it. Right? So if he picked up on how desperate you were feeling, he could just keep blocking. And then you get impatient because you're desperate. And then you make a mistake.
Which I do.
Right. And then so it looked like it didn't work out, too bad for you there. But a lot of good players can basically sense it immediately. And they'll notice and be like, oh shit, he really wants me right now. And that's the type of thing where they try to actually get you to hero burst. Because if you're conveying all that desperateness, you're going to sunk cost fallacy. You're saying, I just spent 100 meter, I have to end this. And then you burst. Right?
Yep.
Like, and then so like once they feel that desperation, they're looking for chinks in your armor. Right? So you want to be careful about that. So like if you'd have just played it patiently, used the one blue RC, and then reset to neutral, and then used it either in the next pressure string or in neutral, that wouldn't have felt nearly as desperate, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So again, it's just one of those things where it's like, be aware of the emotions you're conveying with your moves.
Anyway,
Because stronger players can pick up on that very fast.
Yeah, just like that, 60%.
And
Yeah,
as long as their decision making is decisive, they'll get you.
On the whiff.
Mhm.
Oh my God, J2K.
Because if they can pick up on it and make a decision within, I don't know, 2-3 seconds, you're done.
Good times to swing. He's picking the right buttons.
And obviously that's
yeah,
a skill
there's
that can be
no
trained.
I think
But
that was a 6P that was coming out. Yeah, it looked like it. Yeah, it looked like it.
all right, so quick,
Oh yeah,
quick
then I
round
tried
there.
6P there.
Round start really interesting here. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that?
I tried a 6P there, but I kind of fucked up my
Right buttons.
height decision.
Wow, that totally stopped the ad checks. Good
It was
times to the right buttons.
yeah, right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is when time is slowed, like when you're RC'd, I would not recommend pressing anything other than your fastest button or backdashing. Just as a brief recommendation.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that totally stopped that.
Because I mean, because like low profile moves might not hit their low profile fast enough.
All right. Round start really interesting here. Yeah. That button
All right,
is
got round
insane.
started again, which is unfortunate, but as long as you don't,
Right.
succumb to the momentum, that's another big thing where suddenly you can start to feel down, and again, you can start to feel desperate, where you're like, oh shit, I need to stay alive, I blah, 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 because you're like, oh, I just lost the last round, and he just started this round with a huge combo. Just stay calm.
Uh-huh.
I mean, obviously, it's great advice. Just stay calm, forehead, but like, I mean, you just have to be,
No, but
be
I
aware of
get
it.
what you mean.
Yeah. Just be aware of it and try to stay calm.
Okay.
Now I imagine Pip can just mash two
So just
keys.
don't succumb to the momentum. Don't let them snowball you. And because Eno's a very snowbally character, the more you feel like she's better, like the better you feel like Eno is playing, the better she is. So the more you can just be like, this garbage ass character, I just don't respect this, and then like don't respect it, she gets weaker. So like as long as you know what to respect and what not to, she holds no power over you.
Here we go. Right back into it.
All right, so final one against the Noah here. This is the winner's semis, it looks like.
Yep.
Another drill. There's the burst. And this is going.
And I actually
the way
blocked
it's
that
been
time.
going, like,
All right, so you're back in the blender. Gets hit, that happens.
oh, the wrong
You got burst
place.
baited.
Yeah.
She does that.
Yep.
And then all of a
So
sudden
you
it's
got
not
burst
what
baited
thought.
into not. Oh, that is death. Oh, right, yeah, because it was a burst bait, so it was a low low modifier. Yeah.
Looking a little rough.
All right, you got the right call on that round. Sorry, what was that though? Jump back 2K?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
jump
mainly
back
doing that
2K.
because like.
Because you kept losing it.
I
and
was
it's a lot
trying to call
safer?
out like all the low to mid options.
I mean, it
'cause,
feels like a very safe one, right? Because
No,
if
it is.
she can't hit you with stroke, she can't hit you with hover dash button, she can't hit you with hover dash do nothing, she can't hit you with her low poke, her mid poke. The only thing I think she can beat that with is 6H.
Yep, and 6.
Granted, if she does hit you with 6H with that, you lose half your health, and you're in the blender.
It's honestly a
But
button
he
I
has to
value a
call
lot.
that out, right?
True.
So that's overall probably a good decision. I just wouldn't do it too much.
Oh,
So
no,
good,
no,
good
'cause
call.
it
Good,
is-
smart round starts.
Thank you.
So you've lost some round starts, but overall, I think you were doing really well on it. Again, like you said, you have to rotate options, so that seems perfectly fine.
But here we go. Meteor.
Are you getting
Something I
meteors?
skipped for the last round too, just for conditioning's sake.
No, he was in front of him. Oh, really? Okay.
All right, you
And
get the
there's
wall
that.
break.
He didn't want hammer there.
Oh yeah, I wasn't meaning to get hammer there. I was just trying to reset, but
DRC.
Right,
you
DRC
know,
hammer.
just roll the options.
Yep, low 100 ton.
These items are ridiculous. All right. There it is.
So this is an interaction here that's interesting.
Oh my.
So that
So-
was just
Yeah, so the 100 ton canceled the J2K ending frames. So she
But,
took the block stun of 100 ton, not J2K.
yeah, and I think I kind of got like Fausted here because that is kind of like the point of the setup to force you to get hit by 100 ton. But I was immediately going into a low here. I think that was a scenario where like my first hit of 2K just whiffed.
Looks like she actually barely managed to grab you
Yeah, see,
before.
see, my foot is right there, and it
Yep.
whiffed.
Well, it
it-
hasn't
it-
quite started yet. She's one frame faster than you here.
Uh-huh.
So you are like just barely off.
Which is like
And
fine. Like
that's one of those things
that.
where, hey, wouldn't you know it? Remember how 2P hits 1 frame earlier than your 5K or your 2K or your 5P? Again, it's just you always want to like look at this type of stuff and say, oh, I should have been mashing my fastest button.
Yep.
So it's like, it's just one of those things where it's like sometimes you want to go low, but sometimes you just kind of can't, or you just have to live with what you're doing. But yeah, so absolutely, 5P or 2P would have been better. You could also backdash because you just forced 100-ton. Odds are she's scared.
Right, like, oh, he's gonna. I want to try.
And then you backdash, and then look at where you are if you backdash from this spot. You're at your good range.
And I just won the round.
Yeah, so you're at a good range, and you just won the round because she decided to throw instead of block. So, like, it's just one of those things where it's like, well, you just ended up in this slightly minor scramble, but you just want to make sure that the options you have in your mind are either throw, your fastest mash button, or something like backdash. To be fair, even jump's not necessarily a bad option. Like if you did like a jump back 2K, I know you seem to like to do that, and like it's totally reasonable here. Yeah. Because again, just think about what it beats. It beats most of her options in that scenario. And if, it doesn't work, I believe you're still at a reasonable spacing that you can't get auto thrown. I might be wrong about that, but either way, it's just, this one's a very minor thing, but just try to press your fastest button when you're in scrambles.
These items are
yeah, it wasn't intending to be a scramble. It just kind of ended up becoming one just because I messed up like timings.
Yeah.
Orange is not looking too bad for Pip this round though. Yeah, it has to RC there.
Gets caught. Yep, and then that's it.
And here we go. 2D into the mix. Right, yeah. Sweater. Last game, last round. This is
so
it,
final round.
What's the round start? 2S.
I think I'm like.
You did the same round start, and he fell for it again.
Hold on. I think I'm like slightly behind. I'm gonna refresh.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. We back. All right, but yeah, no, I go for it again just because it's like something that I was really trying to like, I guess, save for like later, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like something like a final toy from like the closet or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And then canceling into love's good stuff.
So
he backdash to make space. And you see, notice how you're approaching your win condition here. Is that he's putting himself farther into the corner while trying to stay alive.
Mm-hmm.
Because during your pressure, Ino wants to make space, which is why whenever you corner her, you're so strong. Because her way out is to make space and then re-engage. But if she's in the corner, she can't make that space. So like when you're engaging with her in neutral or your pressure mid-screen, you're approaching your win condition, which is again, corner her and then just keep her in the corner. Because that's the thing, you can win a war of attrition if she's in the corner. You don't have to land a super flashy or huge combo. You'll just eventually whittle her down because she'll just get impatient. And then you land your sick combo, and then like you look like a god because you have so much health left.
Oh, here's that fishing part I was talking about, which ended up working here.
So which part? The fishing for
jump D.
Okay.
Because I do item toss burst.
Yeah.
And I gain Afro, which Ino runs into.
Yep. So she's got Afro now, and then you're hungry for the Afro burn, and then you land the hit.
Right here.
Gets it, and then you get the full combo.
No,
you choose to go for the reset.
Yeah, I'm going for the kill. And like I said, I'm going for same side the whole time just to get in his head.
Right. Well, and to be fair, again, at best you hit him. At worst, she's still in the corner.
Right.
So
and
hey, it's great.
Does end up killing, which is crazy because
Ino was. I remember I saw this, and a lot of people were like the commentators. I think even mentioned they were just like, "Oh my god, does this kill?" It does. It does kill. So that was a nice one. All right, and then yep, another button check before this match. Again, I just made sure to put it in front of each one so I knew because I wanted to cut that shit out.
Yeah.
So this is you against Noah for the second time in the tournament. So this is likely where Noah's a little bit more upsetty spaghetti. Probably not necessarily in the beginning, but throughout the match.
Because he just came off a round facing column after this.
Yeah.
in the end, it was kind of worth it.
It's not going to do him much.
Oh, yeah.
Chemical love whip.
So he immediately tilted out as soon as he missed that chemical.
Oh yeah,
He missed
no,
the
he
chemical
did.
and immediately just like mashed P twice and was
Also,
like, "Fuck this."
also one other thing, he was tilting about my dive kick, even like in the set before, because there's this like dive kick I hit where like Eno was like directly like almost like above me.
Oh yeah, because it has a high hitbox too. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
big enough to hit you pretty much above or below.
Yeah, and he said out loud in one of these like, "Oh, I hate this stupid button," which is like fair because it is
Yeah.
a stupid button.
No, honestly,
Did
Faust's jump 2K is like pretty strong. It's one of his better buttons.
Yeah, especially in this matchup because like it just
Well,
dominates
because
a
lot of times the way you can deal with that type of move is just by blocking it. But if Noah wants to approach you, he's blocking it while airborne, which changes
Which
the
is
numbers to be
horrible.
much worse for him. So it's a
'Cause
stronger
we're
move
actually, like,
in this matchup. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
So absolutely, but yeah, you can kind of already tell that he's entered the tilt, which means that he's going to be playing impatiently.
Yeah, okay.
and actually secure the corner here, which is crazy.
Yeah,
Oh, I messed up a air dash jump D.
that happens sometimes. So round
Yeah.
start, he went for the 6H. You got the good call on the jump heavy. Because remember, the 6H calls out the jump 2K, which it sounds like he's apparently he was mad about right now. Which means that of course he's going to be like, well, of course he's going to do that stupid broken move. So then, of course, he wants to try and call it out, so you can take advantage of that. And then you're actually playing... See what you're doing right here is kind of preying on his impatience, right? His tilt.
Yep.
Because you're doing exactly what I was encouraging you to do in the first set. So, like, I'm not sure if you're picking up on the fact that he's a bit more impatient right now, but you're staying back. You're not running in willy-nilly. You're just kind of, like, doing pressure, and then you're just kind of swinging far slash at range. And then he's crumbling.
Oh, by the way, reel that back like a second.
To which part?
Right before I get that like final hit.
Okay, right before the final hit.
A little bit more. So he does. Okay, Mini Faust is walking off. He does note.
Mm-hmm. Right. So like the Mini Faust
Note
activates
hits
and
Mini Faust
gets
way
him.
off screen, which I think is hilarious.
Yep, and then Mini Faust comes from downtown, the classic. That gets everyone. And to be fair, though, that also is something that is very tilting if you're already tilted.
It's like he was already like way off screen. I'm like, oh god damn it, this fucking no! I just threw out just to like establish something is actively just hurting me because of this stupid
the one
character.
proactive move you did actively hurt you, and so like then it starts to feel really bad. And then you just get hit by close slash. That wasn't a counter hit. That wasn't a punish. He just got hit by a mid.
Yep.
So that's the tough type of stuff I'm talking about. Impatience. Is he was just holding forward or running, or perhaps even jumping. Is his impatience got the better of him because he's tilting out. And you were playing it pretty much correctly for the way that his impatience was coming. And so that's sort of why you were tearing apart. Like I said, you were playing good safe distance. Mini Faust came from downtown. You capitalized, did a huge pressure string, and you were good. All right, you get a meteor. I'm sure he's probably... Oh, okay. You still pick up the Afro, though, which means Note's not as effective. Get mixed, but there's a trumpet, so he has to respect.
And I think that was actually a pretty interesting scenario, because like you can really approach the mix after that.
Yep. All right. So you force your way out of the corner. Now he's cornered, and notice how desperate he feels in this. Because you're staying back.
Yeah, because
you're staying back, and he's just spending meter to approach you. Because he's like, I have to get something rolling. Because you're playing safe, you're staying back, and he is, like you said, tilting out. And when you tilt out, you have no patience. You say it has to be now. And then, you backdashed again, so now you're creating more distance. You're backing all the way to the other corner. And then, he finally starts to get something rolling. But even then, it's not permanent. Because you do some good mashing. right? And then you go in. He probably would expect you to want trumpet, but you just ignore it.
Yes, it is. No, it does not block the fuzzy, and that will be the
And then you
It's
get
actually gonna Scarecrow a bit faster there, but
menacingly.
Yup.
that
Yeah,
is
so-
just
And Pro has
So you see how you're kind of
a-
dismantling him
the
with
last set, and again, showing
basically what I was telling you in the first set, is you're keeping distance and using your long range, and then he's just getting more and more desperate to get something done.
Nice low.
Because when you're in that scenario, you feel like you're losing everything.
Great grab check. Yeah.
Like
Right,
he just bursted so fast to try and keep the corner. Not a bad burst by any means, but that sort of also shows his mental state. Like all of this combined should be giving you the feeling of his desperation.
which I was, because I was really
Which
trying to like
you-
hold
yeah.
on to like the burst advantage there, because like he especially tilted out after that jump heavy interaction that just
Yeah.
happened.
Right, and that's exactly it. Is you just want to take advantage of it, and so you were picking up on it, and you were punishing accordingly. Like you started doing a lot more of your long range stuff, and that just exacerbated his problem. Of you were basically making all the correct decisions against your opponent's mental state. Right, so you were playing the player. The characters on screen was practically irrelevant, if that makes sense.
Oh, right, I get it.
Which
'Cause, like, I
is a
think I
very
played
good place
around,
to be.
I play this round, I think, pretty cleanly.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're basically keeping it rolling. You have Mini Faust. Look how much it kills him that you are just sitting there behind your Mini Faust. So you throw a Mini Faust and you just sit with it. Look at him. He's just like, okay, jump back. Fuck, jump back, dive kick. Do something. RC up. And then you just 6P him.
Stay back. Like, oh shit, he's gonna 6P me. Do it anyways.
Well, yeah, because it's just one of those things where it's like you're just showing him that you're like, yeah, I'll just sit here. This thing's broken and I know it. And when your opponent's mad, watching your other player basically abuse an extra strong move will really wreak havoc.
Oh yeah, especially since I don't have to actually attack
Yep.
to really enforce it, right?
Exactly. And then you see, so this is the scenario like I was talking about in the last round, or in the previous rounds. Look how much health you have compared to him, and you get to just stay at full range, so you also don't take any risk. So like this is pretty much how those first games could have also looked, if
Right,
you've
right.
played it a little bit, not necessarily smarter, but just differently.
Just smartly, I guess.
Right.
Is the better word.
So-
Don't put all my eggs into a basket, which is
Right.
about to fucking break.
Yeah. And then, he gets, because a lot of what is going on right now is now it looks like he's pretty much tilting out to the way his moves interact with yours.
Yeah, because
Right. It's
here,
like, oh shit, I can't believe Scarecrow hit that. It's basically what's going through his head, right?
yeah, because I was just explaining the disjoint of Scarecrow there.
Right.
Actually, I won't lie. I'm actually going to use that particular clip for a video I'm planning, which is just a fun little video over like charge Scarecrow.
Yeah,
And
do it.
Just use that as like, a
Absolutely.
point. Like, this is a massive move. Don't try to like approach it.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
Like,
like,
if they're
have to-
Scarecrow, honestly, just respect it or like be Ramlethal.
or have like a projectile.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, true.
Because if you're Ramlethal, you'll just swing and you just explode.
Right.
Yep. But yeah, the biggest thing again, if your opponent is tilting out, you just swing. Your opponent will run into your fists.
Uh-huh.
It's just how it works if somebody's getting impatient and all that. And that's why like playing a specific way to evoke that type of emotion is so strong. That's why like if you get him cornered and you just stay far enough away that he feels helpless, you're winning the mental game. Again, that's playing the player. And the character matchup allows you to ignore the character, if that makes sense.
It does.
So you get to ignore the character and play the player.
Yeah, I hate the fuzzy. It's pretty much, I hate to say
All right, so you've got a Mini Faust. So so this actually puts a timer on him. Having Mini Faust there means that your only goal here should be to block.
Right.
Right? Because Mini Faust will turn around. And if you have not like crumbled and given up too much space, There's a good chance that Minifaust just comes over and kills him, or like basically opens him up, and now it's your turn, and he has to block you. So it's like Minifaust's existence there creates a timer. So that's where you're like, what can I do to keep him within range of when Minifaust turns around? So like, honestly, I would say FD. Because that pushes him closer to Minifaust. Like,
yeah, that is
whatever you can do to like just keep that timer rolling. Right, and to be fair, that's just a minor item interaction, but it's just an interesting one to think about if you've never thought about it before. Because again, Minifaust does turn around.
Do think about it's just good to like, I guess, kind of like reiterate, like, hey, that is something you're doing good.
Yep. And then see, like right now, if Minifaust was still here, but doesn't look like he is. Yep.
And there's
All right, still rolling. He's trying to get something rolling, but you're all. Another thing, by the way, if somebody's on a character like this and they're mad, block your heart out. Because if they can't open you up, they get like even more mad. Like if all you do is sit there and block when they are having mental issues, like they're going to start crumbling.
Mm-hmm.
And you start getting away with crazy shit.
Oh, there's item toss burst again. Luckily, kind of works out.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a bad burst, but you know, just another one of those things where it's like, well, you were already kind of winning that round. You didn't have to, but using it to seal out the round's not a bad idea since you still get your burst back for final round at you know, worst. Good mash, you get out. Meeting him air to air. Getting 100 ton means that he has to approach. Okay, so he gets a combo, so he wins the round for this one. But you're about to have burst back. You win the round start, you get a mini Faust. You get a knockdown, you get another mini Faust. Opponent's going to start getting mad. Yep, see, he mashed on... See, I was about to say, so you open up, again, you're in this scenario, somebody's mad, they're getting impatient, and you win round start into mini Faust. They're just going to walk into your punches. So he just mashes on mix. So you just do your move into mix, and he just hits a button and gets hit. And then you have now won his burst.
Yep. And I'm like, oh, sick. Okay, I got burst advantage.
Yep.
And then hit him, it's over.
And speaking of, item throwing after they burst is not always a good idea either. So you notice he bursts here, and you just immediately throw an item.
Yep.
So here's the thing. Again, you can't move while throwing an item. What if after this burst, you're throwing the item, and he just hover dashes at you? He's out of the corner. He's just no longer in the corner. He got out. But as it stands, if you like at least approach, you have to make him still work to get out of the corner, even though he burst. And luckily he went for note, so he also just didn't leave the corner. So it worked out just fine. But just another thing to be mindful of. Whether you burst or they burst, oftentimes like reclosing the distance is a better idea than just getting a free item.
Right.
To be honest, even thrust might sometimes be better, just because it actually reaches, and if they're trying to close the distance, then you just get them.
You know, especially against Eno, because like thrust has like beats pretty much most approaches, but I guess the low profile one.
Yeah. All right, and then that's your sets against Noah. I think we pretty much covered everything that you could possibly want off of that, right?
Yeah, and I have like a whole page of notes here that I'm been jotting off myself, some of which are in...
Yeah. And those aren't all necessarily even Eno specific.
Characters
that you outrange.
I was like writing about Eno herself.
Yeah, because the characters that you outrange, it's the same scenario. You become Ramlethal. Like, if you outrange them, you just do that corner shit and you're Ramlethal now.
Yep.
And what do? They just get mad. Again, and as soon as you tilt your opponent, you get away with murder. Okay, so now we start the matchups against ya boy, the Chip. Volteon
Yep.
here.
And I don't win any games in both sets, but
Okay.
I guess if I were to like go right away into what my main issue I'm having is, it's just figuring out how to play him in neutral.
Yeah, so I have a little bit of a theory because I glanced through a lot of the games while I was recording and setting this up. Do you normally win your first game or two against most chips and then lose all the rest in a row?
Yes.
Right. So
Yes.
what I'm imagining happening is that they are starting out playing their normal game. Therefore, they are giving you respect. And it's a lot more even and you can take advantage. And then as soon as they realize, wait a minute, I don't have to respect him. He doesn't understand my neutral. And then they start getting away with murder in neutral and you can never get rolling.
Right.
That's what my theory is. We'll see if it actually holds up, but basically that's what I'm assuming. That's why I'm assuming you start ahead and get swept. Is that they very quickly realize, oh, he just can't deal with this option, or he just loses to this in neutral, or like he has a bad neutral habit, and they just all immediately like they just notice, stop respecting you, and then just get away with it. But I guess let's get in. So this was seems to be a common round start as Chip, at least against you. I don't know. I saw a lot of this like air dash in round start as Chip.
Yeah, it's really not like a bad option because like it's kind of like the same thing. What's their dick? Anji also kind of likes to do too.
Mm-hmm.
Because like they know, like okay, if I just stand here and press a button, I'm just inherently just not going to like, I guess just full on win the scenario just because of like the existence of 2P.
Right. Okay.
But I also don't really have like, well, and I can't really like, I guess call that out if I go for 2P right away. Like,
Yeah. If you go for 2P, you're blocking.
Yes.
Yeah, because this time it looked like you went for 5P, and then now you're blocking. So
yeah,
same deal.
Yeah, kind of the same approach type of deal you want to go for.
Mm-hmm. So I wonder if it might be prudent to do nothing round start against Chip. So, because if a character is faster than you, there's a good chance they're going to try something. And if you just like hold back, for example, and then you can theoretically react if they try something.
Right.
So it's like you just hold back on round start, and then you see if you see he jumps, just 6P. Or if you see he jumps, then 5P. Because 5P at round start doesn't hit, but 5P if you like after you've seen him jump should hit.
Okay.
Right? So it's like if you're reacting to the jump, then it should hit. But if you're just doing it at round start, he's still like in the middle of jumping when it hits. Or in this case doesn't hit.
And I think that's kind of like almost like a theme we're gonna have between like all like the Chip games I play.
Well, like I said, when I was cutting this together, I noticed a lot of the chips do this to you on round start.
Yeah, like one thing about me that I'm kind of like realizing is that like if I'm trying to, I guess, beat an option, I am pressing something.
Right.
And if I'm doing something, there's always an answer. Whereas if I like just kind of like set back and wait,
yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me actually boot up into gear. So I want to try out some round starts. Have you done this before, where you just go in and set Chip to like do something on round start and you just see how to do? Have you done that really?
I have, but not often enough.
Okay.
Especially like once I get like opened up with like something new, right?
Yeah.
Like I kind of just like, okay, I have my established ones. That's what it's going to be forever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me get Strive up.
Yeah, yeah.
Strive's doing the funky graphics thing, and just takes me a second.
Yeah, I know.
I hate full screen applications,
Me too.
especially when they're borderless windowed. It isn't actually borderless windowed. Because that's what's causing this, is it thinks it's full screen, but it's actually not. So eventually, once we get into the Strive server, but I just want to double check what you can actually do against this specific chip opener. So have you looked into this specific opener from him where he like air dashes in?
Not particular. Okay, no. If I say anything else, I am lying. No.
Okay.
But I do know the option to beat it, right? Because like, it's basically just like, okay, 5K or 6H or 6P, which I have to do like off of like a walk back.
Right. Okay. Well, let's see. So, or wait, which button is it that Chip's pressing here? Is it
I
this
think it's
one?
jump
Okay.
fast.
Yeah, it's jump heavy. Okay. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and set him. So at position reset, he will do my custom. Oh, I have to record them separately. Forgot you can't just do the recording.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that might have been a little bit slow. Let me redo that. Okay, yeah, just like that. And then let's turn on the round call. So I just want to see how this goes. So if I'm mashing 5P, I block. So if I hold back, and then he jumped, I press 5P, I still get hit, actually. If I press 5K, I hit him. What if I 5K from the beginning? I hit him. So even you can just mash 5K and you'll hit him, regardless of having to wait for it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can back off. And, oh, I did that so late and you still traded with him. So if they're doing that, you can easily 5K and you're free. And you actually get a 5K counter hit. Which
is,
if I recall, is a great combo for you, yeah?
Half your health just instantly
Right,
gone.
and he's Chip.
Yeah.
So you could theoretically start the round insanely like that. How else do chips normally open against you?
Sometimes they throw out like a 6P just because like
The 6P, okay.
Fast has like a lot of like high hitting buttons.
Right. Okay.
But like it's mainly it's part of like the mix because like if I go for like 5K here. Yep. See, it stuffs that out.
But notice how so if I do the thing where I wait and then I press it, there's a good chance I can beat the 6P. So you can still easily react in time to catch the air dash.
You're getting like 2P after for like the 6P.
Yeah. So if he 6Ps, you can 2P then. You can also theoretically, I believe, so if you walk back, so you can react 5K if he air dashes, and then if he does 6P, so you can't far slash the air dash, so you have to actually, yeah, you actually get a counter hit punish if you just far slash on his 6P.
Yeah, and
you just like wait, and then you just far slash, and you get a counter hit.
Which
sorry, you don't get a counter hit, you get a punish. I have counter hit on. Hold on.
Oh, you do.
Yeah. There we go. But you
do
still get the counter hit off
like,
of the kick though. But no, yeah. So that's an interesting thing. So they do 6P. What's their like fast move that they usually do to try and catch you? Do they like sweep round start or something interesting?
2K.
They hit 2K. Okay.
That's the thing that clashes with 2P.
Gotcha.
So sometimes some characters
see.
like to go after.
Gotcha. Well,
Which
let's
I
see
could
if there's an
record,
option that like beats these most common ones. So I'm just gonna do walk back, react. Okay.
We're doing like walk back 5H for like all of them.
Yeah. So I was about to say, yep, that beat the air dash one. At worst, it traded. So it's too far for the 2K.
Yeah.
So you get big counter hit on the air dash. If he'll fucking 6P, goddamn. Well, I know it's set to random. Why aren't you 6Ping? There we go. So it also punishes the 6P. So if you just like walk back and then be able to react with heavy slash, you should stuff most all these options.
Yeah, I would like to say, and I think like going for 5K is also like pretty good too, because like just because of its whiff recovery, because like unlike like 5H, right? Because like 5H is in my case, if the chip also happens to like wait it out, I'm instantly just kind of like in a bad scenario just right off the bat.
So 2S is looking pretty good. How's it do against... Okay. So 2S beats 6P and 2K. Like, beats them. But it doesn't work against the air dash. Yeah, so... And to be fair, if he 2Ks and you 5H... and you're basically just at neutral. But just note that he will likely take initiative because he's faster.
Right, and... I just gotta hold that. Don't try to like.
Yeah, just be like, oh shit, okay, down block. Right. So I would just recommend doing a round start that's a lot safer.
Which is 5K generally.
Right. Well, yeah, it's either gonna be 5K or honestly, I would just say at round start, just walk back. Just walk back and then either have your finger hovering over 5H and ready to press it at a moment's notice. Because to be honest, if you walk back and you see he does 2K, you can just not press 5H. Or or you can like walk back and then reaction 2H. And like, oh shit, he jumped. Well, that's where you react. So like you just walk back and then you could be looking for the 2H if you want to like get something rolling. But note that you'll probably not be able to react. So you can probably only punish one at a time for whatever you're looking for, but you shouldn't lose to the others for the sake of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So like you'll walk back, and then if he does do the one you're looking for, you get the big punish. And if he's not, well, you're walking back, so you block.
Got it.
So it's like it's very safe round starts and a good way to not fall behind immediately.
Which is something I really tend to struggle with, because like.
Yeah, well, because Chip is another snowball character.
Yeah, because like normally with like most characters, like if I whiff a 5H, it's like not the biggest deal ever. When I whiff a 5H against Chip, I am crying.
Yeah, because I mean theoretically another option could be so 2D beats 2K. 2D beats 6P, because your 2D is pretty big.
Right.
And then, in theory, it might just still get punish hit by the air dash. Yeah, so it is a punish. So here, what buttons do you have? You have 6P, you've got a 6H. So here, how does 6H do? So that he definitely could have blocked. So it punishes that. So 6H not very good. So yeah, I would just recommend do a walk back and then again just hover your hand over whichever one, whether it's 5K or 5H, and then just if he does the one you're expecting, just swing.
Right.
And then if he doesn't, just you're in neutral now. But the most important thing is again, you don't you're not under pressure yet. And then, because we're going to work on your neutral today. That's what else we're going to do.
Yeah, that's the main thing.
So you're not going to, like, auto lose neutral. So it's going to
Which
be
I think-
okay to enter neutral.
Yeah, and I think even outside of, like, Chip himself, this will help me at least kind of, like, get a gauge for, like, what I should, like, try to do, like, when I just kind of, like, inherently just get out-neutraled.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, it's kind of like the same reason why I kind of, like, struggle with, like, Ram, because, like, the way she out-neutrals me there is that, well...
She just gets to do it. Yeah.
Everything else, the damage, like, kind of sucks. But
Absolutely. But, I mean, I'm always an advocate, so I don't believe in imbalance. I believe in practice.
right.
So it's like, there is no character, like, matchup that you can't overcome. Like, unless it's, like, one of the, the genuine 10-0s, like, the fighting games have had them occasionally in the past. Like, I think Injustice was famous for them, where it's, like, a literally unwinnable game. But, like, other than those, there's nothing that, like, you can't do to come out on top. Because no matter how bad the character matchup is, if you can beat the person there, that's all that matters.
Exactly. Because, like, at the end of the day, it's, like, down to, like, who is controlling them in the first place.
Exactly. And so right here at the very beginning, it worked out really well. So you ended up side swapping with him, and he ends up in the corner. So you've jumped 2K'd like 3 times now already.
Yeah.
And then you're spending a lot of time in the air. So in the same thing that I was talking about with Eno, you have him in the corner, and you outrange Chip. You have no reason to be like going nuts and doing anything crazy. So it's like, okay, so you end up cornering him, and then you're at a good range. All right, he gets hit by Love, and then you just like jump in and then double jump. Chip can just walk out the corner. He's under 0 pressure. Like, you running in actually put him under less pressure than if you were just literally standing there under the timer. Like, not even swinging. If you were just standing there under the timer, he'd feel more pressured than he is right now.
Yeah, I'm going to write a little note for that, too. Reduce airtime in direct pressure.
Yes. Especially here, because, like, it looks like, so you jumped at him, and then it looks like you, I guess, expected an anti-air, so you jumped again. And
yeah.
To be honest, you just have no real reason to, A, probably jump in the first place, but B, definitely not to jump again. Because the jump again, he's just free to do whatever the hell he wants. He could run all the way to the other side of the screen if he wants. He's fast enough to just literally be all the way over there.
And then come back to punish me.
Yeah, and then, like, you'll be like, oh shit, he's over there, I better close the distance, and then he just runs up and kills you. And then, you know, you're at the wall, so he gets, like, a big wall combo.
Right.
So it's like, hey, would you look at that? Chip just walked out the corner, and now you're in the corner. And because you were also still expecting him to not walk out the corner for whatever reason, you swung, thinking he was there, and then you just get punished for it.
Yep.
So that is actually the same issue I was seeing on the Eno game. You have him in the corner. Chill out. Like you're good. You've done a good job. You don't have to get something done. The pressure's not on you.
It's on the opponent.
Right? You're cruising. It's their job to get out. Right? Because you don't want to just let them out for free. You know what? You want to make them suffer.
Yep.
All right, so you did a full screen thrust. You got to be careful with that, even against Chip especially. He's fast enough that, like, look how close he got before that hit him.
Oh, already like halfway there.
Like, he's within like far slash distance to you now. Yeah,
is like it's -12 on hit, which is like normally unpunishable for most characters.
Mm-hmm.
He already like closes the distance.
Right,
like...
he was already fast. Like, he's this close now, and then he's that close after it ends. That is actually still close enough for him to run in, and if not punish, at least start his close slash pressure.
Yep.
He ends up trying to go for like an overhead. I think he thought you were gonna try and jump out or something, but then he just goes, "Look, do you see what he's doing though? Notice how you're cornered, And he's like, oh, instead of running all the way in, I'm going to use a projectile and just hang out back here and make him leave the corner.
He's, oh my god, it's that thing. He is chilling. I'm in the corner.
Yeah.
Why risk much?
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like if you're in the corner, well, it's your job to get out. But if you're
Oh
not, you have no mission. Your goal is to just chill, hang out, and just say, hey, deal with this. Because a fight like this is a conversation. You're asking questions and hoping your opponent can't find an answer in time. Right? So you're saying, can you deal with this? And
Yes.
if they can't come up with an answer fast enough, then they lose. And sort of what you do outside the game is sort of you're like pre-preparing for this conversation, this debate. So you already know the answer to some questions. And that's just how it is. But you'll never know the exact answer to the exact phrasing of the question. Right?
Because to be that, you kind of have to be like crazy.
Right. And then so it's all about that. So you seem to have a lot of the issue where it's just like you ask another question before you give your opponent a chance to answer. If that makes sense. So you're instead of saying you're in the corner, how do you answer this? You say that, hey, because that just gets asked when you put them in the corner. And then they don't have to wait for an answer, or like they don't have to come up with an answer, because you just immediately interject the new question of, can you block this pressure?
Which they already established they know how to deal with.
Right. And then so they never have to learn the answer to the question, how do you get out of the corner against Faust?
Yeah, I just have to keep it in. Because, like, I did the same thing after. This applies to that burst. Because, like with that nasty habit I have where, they don't have to ask, like, okay, what are they going to do here? They just have to be like, okay, they're going to press item or thrust immediately.
Mm-hmm.
In that case,
Because I always know what you're going to do whenever there's a burst. That's why I always get to hit you. Because you always do the same thing.
So I guess just chilling out, like, after, like, just
again, like I said, make them answer the question. Because if they can't answer it, then you win. So it's one of those things where it's like you're like they don't have a chance to answer the question, but they don't have to. But you want to make it so that any question you pose to them is a game-ending question. So you ask them, do you know how to get out of the corner when I'm playing Faust? And you need to make them have the answer to that. Because at the moment, they don't need the answer because you're letting them out. You're running in and saying, can you block this? And then they block it. And then, then theoretically, the question would pose again, can you get out of the corner? But then you run in and start another block string. So it's like, you want this to be a question they're forced to answer. Because the more diverse questions you can ask, the more likely you are to hit them with something they don't know.
Yeah, that's the type of thing you just want to, like, keep for when it's, like, almost like key time to, like...
Yeah, and there's an idea where a lot of times if you notice that your opponent doesn't have an answer to a question, you save it. You put that in the back of your head and you say, they don't know how to beat this. There's two camps of thought. There is, I'll just keep doing it because it keeps working, so I'll just win. That's the short-term gain, where you start taking early rounds. And if you're a momentum-based player or a momentum-based character, that's a really good thing. And you want to do that.
Right.
But if you are somebody who's going to need to play methodical, who's going to need to play smart, the whole set, you take that and you put it in your back pocket. And you say, we are on final round, final game. And now, let's see if you have an answer within this one round. As opposed to giving them however many rounds it would actually take them to find an answer.
Yeah, or like however many interactions, which...
Right, exactly.
Not to, like...
Right, because you just don't give them a chance to think about what their answer could be.
Yeah.
Because the better players you play, the faster they can come up with answers. Because they just know their character that well.
Mm-hmm. And Voltion especially does. He's
right,
fucking crazy.
And that's exactly it. So there's two different camps. So it's either just use it until they figure it out, And then now that I have such an advantage, I should be able to close it out just because I took advantage of it when it was. Or
Right.
there's the, I think I can still slug it out even without using this. It sort of comes down to, are you playing up or playing down? Are you playing somebody better than you or worse than you?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's just whether or not taking that early advantage is more important than saving it for the game-winning move. Because if you think you can play it down to final game, final round safely without using that, you automatically win. But if you don't think you can play it out without using that, then you might as well use it now to get as much of a lead so you can get to that point. And then just try to slug it out. So again, they're two completely separate like schools of thought, and neither one is right, if that makes sense. They're both just choices you can make based on your play style, your opponent's play style, your character, the opponent's character. Like it is very like hit or miss. Some people swear by one, others swear by the other. Some people bounce back and forth. I personally, I'm a bounce back and forth. I think it matters a lot more. Again, if you're playing somebody better than you, you need as much advantage as you can get because odds are they're better than you, and you're not going to be able to get to final game, final round without using your advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you're fighting somebody worse than you, you can just keep using it over and over. And if they're worse than you, they're likely also not going to adapt as fast. So you could theoretically win the whole set before they understand how to do it. Or you might get like a whole game or 2 games or even just 1 round. So if it's just 1 round, it's a good chance that they're at least of equal skill with you and you're not actually playing down. And then suddenly, oh, well, now I have new information because I have gauged how strong my opponent is. So there's a good idea where if you just use it immediately, you also get a good idea of how fast your opponent adapts. Which could tell you, oh, should I throw 3 times in a row? Well, no, they're a fast adapter. So I should throw once, maybe twice, and then start swinging. Right? So it's like, it's all information that you're trying to absorb and adapt yourself as fast as possible. And knowing how fast your opponent adapts is a very important like thing to know. Because you can abuse any knowledge, it can be an advantage. Because again, if I know that you adapt faster, I might use a move once and it works. And I actually just won't use it. Like I'll switch it up the very next time instead of doing it again. Right? Again, and so it's like you adapt before they do because you're adapting knowing that they're going to adapt. It's sort of like the I knew you were going to do that. I knew you knew that I was going to do that. Like type of counterplay.
I follow.
Yeah. So again, neither one is overly right. It depends on you and, the situation. If you want to swear by one, go for it. If you want to swear by the other, go for it. If you want to flip-flop, go for it. All of that is completely correct. I just need you to know how it all works.
Which I think I do now. It's just like a lot.
Yeah, it's absolutely. That's why I was like, I'm going to spend a long time trying to make sure everything's very clear and going over all the different aspects of it. Yep. But yeah, so that there you go. That's an idea for how that works. But
thank you.
Again, I personally bounce back and forth. Okay, so you went for the mash after the first Rekka. Is that a fuzzy mash, or did you just be like, oh, he didn't do anything, or he didn't do the follow-up and you just mashed?
It was more like, yeah, no, he didn't do the follow-up. I'm going to try pressing here.
Okay, so it wasn't like a fuzzy mash or anything.
No.
Gotcha.
Which is something, like, I gotta say, it's not inherently like a skill I have like built up completely.
Mm-hmm.
But, I try.
Yeah. And one thing that's useful to note about Chip, what do you do after his second Rekka? So he does Rekka 1 and Rekka 2, the low. What do you do?
Oh, still there?
Yeah. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what do you do when Chip does his second Rekka? So he does Rekka 1 and then Rekka 2, the low. What do you do now?
Typically I hold high or if I notice that they didn't press, well, I press myself.
Okay.
I don't think is inherently really good.
No, that's
but-
absolutely right. I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you sort of like fuzzy guard high after Rekka 2, because the only option he has is either go high or stop.
right.
He can't do like another low immediately. So you have time to react if he just doesn't press anything, or you just auto block the top one. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew that for the chip matchup.
Yep.
Blocking all the mix-ups, trades on the buttons, it relieves the pressure brief.
Yeah, because you see, like, so we're cornered. That sucks. He's playing at a reasonable range. You're FDing. So this is keeping him at range.
Trying to find the pokes, but it's gonna be the
And then just scramble to get out of the corners, that looks like. Yeah, so you
that
J2K.
works.
He ends up above you. You try to 5K.
trying to find the pokes.
To be honest, if this scenario happens where, because Chip also, you know, he's fine in the air. He's another airborne character. If Chip is like jumps above you like that, remember how I was saying you jumping above your opponent while he was in the corner just lets him walk out?
Yeah, I can just run under.
Yeah, if you just ran,
oh
you're
my god!
Yeah, if you just ran instead of pressing anything, you're out of the corner and he's cornered.
I never. Oh my god! I never do that. I
Right.
should.
Yeah,
Oh my
the
God.
same weakness in your play is something you can exploit if you notice it in other people's play.
Trying to find the
One
pokes,
sec.
but
What?
it's gonna be the jump.
Because it's literally a no. I wrote for myself in my own pressure. Why is it something I don't do my? Oh my! I'm so
Mhm.
mad. I'm so mad.
Yeah, so there you go. That's a pretty simple, easy change. So if the and chips like to be airborne as well. They also succumb to this. They're airborne characters. So if you see him jump like that, try to run out. Like most of the time, the worst case scenario is he's like using jump 2K and he catches you, but it'll usually still catch you side swapped.
Yep. And at the very least, I'm out of the corner.
Yeah, and at worst, you're out of the corner unless he like spends meter RC. But at that, I mean, if he had RC anyway, you were kind of in hot water anyway. So
Pretty much, yeah.
I don't drop sets here. I don't drop these. All right, here we go. Pressure again started. Voltgun gets to go again.
all right, so you're in the corner, getting hit by the pressure. So what opened
Pressure again started. Voltgun
up
gets to go
here?
again. My turn.
So you just got hit by Rekka 1, it looks like. So is it another fuzzy mash, or was it just kind of? Because it wasn't. It looks like it was slightly delayed, but not anything crazy.
To play the game.
Yeah, that one was just me. I have a thing where like I'm really good at like knowing where there's like delays, but like not necessarily like on delays that like I should press on.
Right. Okay.
Right, because like I pick up on it immediately, but I can't. The thing I don't recognize is like, okay, is this a trap? That's not something I. I guess in the moments, like
Yeah.
spur of the moment, like have.
Yeah, because this one here is actually just his normal pressure. This is not a mix at all. This is just kind of you just mashed and got hit.
Yep.
But there's also just no reason for you to mash. And
No,
then it looks
zero.
like you do a bad burst. So this is where you burst against Chip. Is when he's in the air. Because you wait to burst until after he does the second one, where he's on the ground and you go slightly up with your burst.
But I'll be honest, that one was kind of like a knowledge
Really playing the game right
check on my
Yeah.
part, because like I had no idea that part was
Was
burst
burst
safe.
safe? Yes. Just another one of
Yeah,
those things where it's like you just kind of got to learn that stuff as you go.
Yeah, I even asked him about that, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it is." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
You have to burst the first one if you're gonna burst.
Chip having a poorly timed burst gonna completely drop that.
Which it's funny you say that. I never know when to burst against him ever.
If he ever does the up, Alpha Blade, I think it's Alpha Blade, the one where he goes diagonal and he ends up above you, you should always be able to burst that.
Okay.
So whenever he does the up one, you should be able to burst it no matter what. So
Noted.
that point is always burstable in his combos unless he has like RC or like something fancy. Otherwise, you just kind of have to play it by ear.
Big hit. Oh, does he pick it up? If he RC'd to pick that up.
Swept.
Yeah, and one thing that, like I was just really struggling to, I guess, do is just try to like wall him out, which is like
Oh my goodness.
on resets from the wall. I do a quick little like 5K, and I have many moments where I try to like far slash, and
Right.
sometimes just okay, fuck it, far slash again, and
Okay.
he just has the speed just to get around me, like
Yeah. And so that one you just kind of got opened up by chip mix. That happens.
yeah.
You know, nothing to be ashamed of on that. Sometimes you just get opened by chip. You know,
Yep.
could just say, oh, we'll just block out like high forehead, but like everyone gets opened by it at some point. So safe start. You actually did the walk back heavy, by the way. Notice how this round start ended up. You just were in neutral.
Yep. And I react by backdashing here. Do I say? Oh, I'm so mad I didn't 6P that. Just something I gotta get like better at, just like quicker 6Ps, because like I'm just kind of getting abused by that.
Like,
like
I
3
said,
times.
one of the biggest things is if a chip notices you just don't call them out, they'll get away with more. They'll just keep doing it or whatever. So it's like 6Ping. Honestly, I would switch to 5King because it's less punishable. Because if you 6P and he actually chose a different option, you just get hit. But if you 5K, there's a lot more likely of a chance that like you're safe. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like he's fast enough and his approaches are good enough that you just are forced to use your faster moves as opposed to your better moves, if that makes sense. So it's like you could get a way better punish and a way better reward off of a 6P, but you also, again, higher risk, higher reward.
You know, it's kind of funny because like typically it's like the inverse, because like you know, 5K is the move you go for if like, okay, I want to get reward here and I want it now.
Right.
Whereas 6P is like, okay, it's my giant button, has upper body invuln, pretty safe just to hit against any anti-air, but like, but yeah, no, totally. It's like I think this is one where I almost want to like just favor just 5K more, just purely because of like it's.
No, absolutely. It's the same thing I do whenever I'm fighting Eno as Gold Lewis. I just use 5K almost exclusively in neutral. Like that's just my neutral button in that matchup.
Yeah.
Because it's just perfect. It hits stroke. It's disjointed so it misses the lows. And it hits just high enough to hit her while she's hover dashing in.
Okay.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's like in the matchup, like matchup specifically, you just might spam one particular move more than the others. So like in this matchup, maybe you just should be using 5K more instead of, I don't know, 2H, far slash. Like you just need to be using 5K instead in a lot of these scenarios.
Ignore my slash buttons for the most part, unless it's...
honestly, I would highly recommend that. I know, especially, again, as a slow character like Gold Lewis against Chip, my like heavy buttons and slash buttons, they're unusable. I just can't use them. I don't. So it is all, 2P, 2K, 5K, and like that's it. And like 5P if he jumps at me. But like I will rarely use like the big swings because like if I whiff a behemoth, for example, I just explode. Because you just can't use any of the high recovery moves because he will get in and he'll get a good punish too. So it's not just like, oh, I just got, whiff punish. He hit me with, slash heavy slash. He can likely get a close slash punish because he's that fast.
And I think I want to like reserve it mainly for like when I like get cornered.
Right. So it would be one of those things where it's like you're in the corner, you need the range. Because that's your one advantage left while you're still in the corner, is that he has to stand a lot farther back to be out of your range. Which could, so as long as you represent those normals at least a little bit, it makes him stand at a farther distance so you can probably weasel out a little bit easier.
Yeah, just don't use it to like exclusively try to like...
The only other reason you should probably use them is if you are making a hard call out. If you are like, I know for a fact that you are going to jump air dash at me, and you hit your 5H, right? Like that's really the only reason you should be using those like hard hitting buttons and long recovery buttons in neutral against a character like Chip. Is if you are making the hard call out and you're right. If you're wrong at your hard call outs, I mean, you're just gonna lose. Like,
It's not call out then. It's
yeah, it's not a call out. That's just you guessing.
yeah.
So, yeah, just only use, you know, your 2P, your 5K, your 5P. Use your moves that are very safe in neutral. And the best part about that is the more you use those buttons, the more he's going to feel comfortable at the range that's on screen right now.
Right, which is where
then you bust out a long range move every so often.
Yeah, because like if he tries to like 6P, and I recognize like, okay, he's going to try to 6P my 5K.
Yep.
Well, nope. Instead, it's my 2H, which I represented.
Or even then, he'll just like wait outside that range for you to whiff, and then he'll try to close the distance. But suddenly use a button that's not out of range. Because from this distance, your far slash will hit, but your 5K and 2P and stuff won't. Well, your 2P might. It's kind of a sick button. But like, so you represent a lot smaller but safer buttons, and then the Chip player can start to feel more comfortable at a certain range. And that's like, again, that's a conditioning thing. If you condition them to think a certain range is safe, then suddenly you are making call-outs. You are saying, hey, far slash is just going to hit here because he's waiting for something else, or like he's going to block it, which means I get an item toss or something. Because it's now max range, you hit him, it knocks him back, and you get an item toss. So, you know, whatever thing Faust happens to want in that scenario. And then so I would highly recommend switching to faster buttons and then very rarely sprinkling in for either call-outs or conditioning reasons the longer buttons.
Yeah, just as like a little treat. Keep him guessing.
As a treat. There you go. That's a good way to put it. Yep. So it looks like you actually do this fuzzy mash a lot, by the way.
Yeah, it's something he really
and you do it after the first Rekka, which is interesting. So after the first Rekka, you seem to fuzzy mash 5P a lot.
Which is a horrible idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's good because if I recall, first Rekka into overhead Rekka, you're 5P at worst trades, right? Something like that? Yeah. As long as it's like a fuzzy mash and not like you're trying to react. But
exactly.
But I think you just like get counter hit by the low, right?
Yeah, I do. And way too often, which is a horrible idea because Rekka 2 actually goes underneath it.
Right, it goes underneath it, you get counter hit, and then he gets like a real combo.
Yeah.
So I would recommend, if you're going to fuzzy mash, I don't think that's the place. I think after Rekka 1, you could give a couple things a shot. Obviously, you're cornered here, so your options are more limited. But you could just try to create some space, or you could FD. You can try to instant block. Because I believe if you instant block Rekka 1, you should be able to fuzzy throw. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the exact numbers, but...
Me neither, but I would believe it.
Yeah. But I'd recommend also getting into and using the defensive mechanics of the game. Right? So instant block and faultless defense, how often do you use them?
Never.
Right. But like against
FD, more, but like it's more like, oh, I'm getting low on health, I better...
Right,
FD.
you use it as an anti-chip measure. Well, not like chip, but like... Goddamn. As an anti-getting killed while blocking measure.
Yeah.
Well, I would recommend using it as an anti-chip measure as well with CHIPP, where you use it to try and create some space. Because I think if you FD Rekka 1, then Rekka 2 is at like max range. Pretty much. And then if you FD that as well, the overhead just won't reach.
You're right.
So if you FD the first and second hit of Rekka, you can literally probably hit like far slash.
Oh, that's smart. Oh my. Oh, I'm so mad.
So you want to make sure that like, again, if you're in the corner and you're under pressure from like a rushdown character like Chip here, what are your options? Well, your options are block, fuzzy mash or throw, backdash. But don't forget your options of faultless defense and instant block. Because those are important options, especially because you're a character that doesn't have a reversal. You don't have a DP.
Wish I did.
So you can't, use that as a tool, so you should rely more on the system mechanics.
Right. Like, almost like in, Happy Chaos.
Right.
Almost.
But yeah, so if he's like, okay, he's going to go in and do pressure. If you just FD his pressure just ends. He's not like Soul where the far slash, walks him forward. He has to manually run back in. His Rekka does move him forward a little bit, but if you FD those hits as well, you're fine. And obviously, this is, advanced, but if you instant faultless defense, you send him to fucking Narnia.
I do.
So, because, if he swings Rekka 1 and you instant faultless defense, I'm pretty sure Rekka 2 just whiffs.
No, it does. It does.
So if you actually land the instant faultless defense, you just mash far slash, and you just fucking kill him. Because either he didn't do it and then he now blocks your far slash, or he did do it and gets counter hit or punish hit because it whiffed. Which means that you get it into 2H, into item toss or whatever the fuck you want. So it's just make sure, again, against characters like this, you want to use FD and stuff. But you want to make sure it's not the only thing you do, because every player is going to know how to beat the system mechanics.
No, for sure.
So he's like, oh, he's starting to FD my pressure. I need to do this type of pressure, or I need to stagger. And then so he'll start staggering. But you know what you do if he starts staggering his pressure? You mash, you throw, you backdash, you jump out. If he creates gaps in his pressure to beat your faultless defense, there's gaps in his pressure now.
I see.
So just make sure you're using them mechanics. That should help you against a character like Chip.
Noted.
And it looks like you also just kind of are panicking.
I am, because I'm pissed off. Look at that bird.
Look at. Honestly, just look at this fucking counter hit. He literally just goes close slash, heavy slash.
Yeah, there's no reason why
and you just get hit. Yeah. And then, he RC's in to get a full, extra combo, and then you burst is lost, and now your wall broke, no burst, no bitches, fucking.
Yeah.
It's over. And then
just kind of get shit on.
And then you get a good fuzzy mash. All right, you managed to actually make up for that. That was a good reaction. So now you have him cornered. What's the plan? Swinging, you got a hit. So you got his burst now. This is actually good. Because you didn't want him to end this round while still having burst. So even though you lost the round, you still won in spirit. Because now...
Getting him the burst is just inherently good.
What's that?
It's getting him the burst is just inherently good.
Well, yeah, anytime you can, because if you're likely going to lose a round anyway, if you can at least get something on the way out, like a burst, that matters in the next round, that's a win. Because you were going to lose the round anyway, but you still won the burst. Which means that you have a lot better comeback potential in the next round, because he doesn't have it. So it's that is a win. That is a win. You lost the round, but you won the war. Because you were so disadvantaged there, you were getting smacked. The fact that you managed to turn it around enough to at least get burst, that's a win. That's a win.
Yep.
You're just getting hit by his strings. These aren't even mix-ups. You're just mashing.
Why was I pressing so much?
Yeah, I'm watching that. You're just mashing against Volteon here.
Bro.
You're all right, we got close slash into 2S. And you just got counter hit. This isn't a Rekka. This isn't, an unknown low. You just down back. And you're safe.
So fucking... 1 sec. all caps. Don't press so much.
Yep. And that's another one of those things is just respect his pressure. Chip's got strong pressure. And just respect it. You know, don't respect it too much, but respect it. Like it should be like default respect, and then again, your sprinkles on top is a little bit of disrespect.
Right.
Because you don't want to let him get comfortable and just be like, oh, I can get away with whatever the fuck I want. Because then you're truly screwed.
Like, he's just gonna mash on everything.
Right, because like he hasn't done a true mix to you yet.
No, he hasn't.
And you've lost an entire round and half your health in this one. You lost a whole game. And he hasn't even done like a real chip mix on you.
No. I'm not even getting like out neutraled. I'm just pressing.
Yep. Now this one's a bit more of an understandable press. Because he does a 5k stagger into 5k. It looks like you were, I think, pressing 2p. That's what it kind of looks like.
I actually cannot tell on that one.
Yeah, you were pressing 2p. And you got hit by the 5k stagger.
Oh, yeah. 2p. Yeah.
Which is, you were likely, like, a frame or two off. But it's another one of those things where it's press your fastest button.
Yeah, because like
if you are going to mash, make sure it's your fastest button.
Yeah, because if it's like a frame or two off, like literally, like 2 frames earlier is my 5p.
Mm-hmm. So again, just if you are gonna mash, press your fastest button. Yep. It'd be like if I'm Soul and I'm pressing 5p, and it's like, well, I've 5k. Why wouldn't I just be pressing that, right?
Yeah.
You just press your fastest button if you are going to mash. Although again, just in general, try to respect a little bit of chip. All right, so you got hit by that mix, but he didn't have a follow-up on that because it's just like 6k is it's a kind of a meme. If he doesn't have meter, it's just a meme.
Yep.
So this was actually, I think, so he notices that you're actually about to get burst, and he does a burst safe thing, but he just doesn't finish you. I think he just missed a dash. So what I would do there... So in this scenario, this is just a general thing. So when an opponent makes a mistake, they will immediately try the thing again every time. It's like a switch in their brain has flipped, and they say, "No, I have to prove I can do it."
Oh yeah.
Like if you miss a DP, you bet your ass they're gonna DP again. Even if it doesn't make sense to do it a second time, they're going to do it. If they mess it up the first time, they're going to do it. So it's like, he just messed this up. So he's definitely going to run in and press something. So what I would do here, your burst is useless. Gold burst.
Yeah.
Because there's no way he doesn't run in and do something.
Which I think that's what I actually do here. Like, nope, there's my 5p.
Yep, so you do mash your fastest button. Good on you. That worked out. If it was your slower button, you lost the game. Since it was your fastest, you traded, so you're still technically alive.
I get anti-aired by 5p.
Yep. So another trade. But I would just recommend, again, if somebody makes a mistake, they will most often it's just, I don't know what it is about the human brain, but we're just like, no, I can do that. Trust me. And then like, they just do it again. Like if you just like hit them with a meaty and they're like, oh, I fucked up my DP. They're going to DP on the next meaty. Right? Like he just whiffed his hit on you there to win the game. So he's going to run in and try to hit you. It's just one of those things. He missed up his runs, hit, and then so he's going to run hit. And that's just like a minor thing. You don't technically have to care about that. But if you're looking for every advantage you can, if your opponent fucks something up, they're going to do it again.
Yeah,
and just punish it.
Expect it.
Yep. So you could have probably gotten away with a gold burst there. So then you have 100 meter against Chip with no meter. So then you have a lot more of a comeback opportunity, if that makes sense.
Right.
Again, every advantage. You were last round. Your burst was also useless anyway. Because he gave up that damage, like your burst, it won't save you from another hit, right? Because you're now just low enough that you die in like one hit anyway. It doesn't have to be a combo.
I died to a 5p, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you get round start? He just ran up DP. It was an interesting choice. I think it was because of the banana peel.
Oh, Yeah, you're distinct from me on stream.
I'm desynced from you.
Oh wait. Okay. Where are you at right now?
I'm paused on you with meteors.
Okay, I'm just now. Hold. Oh, okay. I had that thing where the live button. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Where like the YouTube VOD is kind of too good for live, where you can actually scrub through it while it's live. But you just want to make sure.
Scrub through it. It just It just stopped being live.
Yeah,
for
that
some
also
reason.
sometimes happens when whenever it like buffers. Sometimes it'll just like go a half second past, and then like every time it buffers, it's like another, fraction of a second.
Yeah.
So sometimes you just gotta make sure it keeps up. I can also technically disable that, but I actually really like that feature. It's pretty cool. I just think it's neat, so I just leave it on.
All right, I'm caught up.
All right, so we're here with meteors. All right, so you corner him. What's the plan? All right, you got close slash, far slash, run up, close slash, and then some lows.
Finally got 2 or 3 items out, and look how this round went.
Looking to bait his own verse from Volteon. Volteon just content.
All right.
And
I mean,
just
that's
wouldn't
fairly solid. That's great.
That was
You just did normal pressure stuff. He got hit too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just kind of get hit, and like we were saying, you were just mashing and getting hit. He just wasn't. He just got hit.
I only need 3.
Exactly.
off of a banana and a freaking donut on the ground too.
Now see, he actually seems to do this thing a lot, where he'll actually do it in block strings, but he'll often put himself closer to the corner. So if you manage to like stabilize, you can like try to fight for space or push him towards the corner. Because you kind of play a little bit cowardly here. I'm not saying it's the wrong decision to play cowardly in this specific scenario. I'm just curious. Let's look at it. So okay, so he jumps in like this. You down back, and then you backdash the Rekka, which is good. That's fine. And then you swing, so he backdashes, and then you backdash again from full screen.
Yeah, just because like I don't want to get whiff punished for my far slash missing. And
Well,
I'm like, okay, shit.
If it whiffed because of a backdash, he can't punish you from this range. At most,
right,
you can just like hold down back. You don't have to backdash. Because by the time, so he just finished his backdash, you finished your far slash.
Yeah, and in this time he took to like right after this, like
Yeah.
run up or whatever.
Yeah, so
Like, I
then
could,
like you backdash, and then he just runs forward. And then you finish your
could, like-
backdash, and then we're here.
Yeah, this is prime 2P time.
Right, and then so like the distance is close, and then like he starts a button while dashing. You do good to keep holding back. Like creating the space to make him whiff is good.
Yeah, and I think I actually get the far slash punish here because of that.
So. Yes. You do. You get your far slash into 2H into your item, which it looks like a bomb.
Okay, here we go. Items. Yeah.
But then you go for a second item throw. Remember how we were talking about with Eno?
Yeah, that's a no against
How
Chip.
against certain characters, you don't have time for a second one. Regardless of, even if the item is theoretically, I get another free item. Some characters, that's not the case. Because notice how he ran past before, I think even the bomb dropped. So like, even if it was like a hammer or something. Yeah, he's literally hitting you while the bomb is still in the air. So even if it was like a hammer, he still hit you. So like against certain matchups, you just need to notice like, I definitely can't get away with 2.
Okay, here we go. Items.
Yeah, in that time, that's like prime time to like throw out like my quick buttons, which like
Right, and then because if he's
like,
trying to close distance, absolutely press something and make him have to change where he swings. Because if you press like 2P while he's running up, you're gonna knock him out from a lot farther range than he'll probably want to be swinging. Because again, you have better range in this matchup. You need to use it. Because in neutral, he's faster, but you're like got longer limbs. Right? Like in this matchup, your 2P is likely your best button. Because it forces him to start doing an air approach, which is, as far as I know, weaker.
Yeah, because 5K just eats him alive.
Right, because if you land the 5K, you just suddenly kill him.
Yeah.
And then 2P hits far enough and fast enough that he has to be very conscious of it. So like if he's like running at you, just 2p. And then like if he starts like jumping while running at you, well then you get 5k. And if he starts going at a range that like he starts swinging to try and like punish your 2p by like, you know, stopping just outside the range or whatever, you can start switching to 5k as well. Again, you know, bait him into thinking what your actual range is. But you have longer buttons that you can sprinkle in.
Okay.
Throw items out.
Okay. I see. Plus, with like 5K, it's like just as active as my 5H is.
Right.
So it's like, oh, you know, it's funny. The more I like talk about this, the more like frustrated I am getting with myself.
Hey
This is
man,
like, why am I not doing this?
it's often hard to see when you're looking at it yourself. A lot of times it takes an outside eye to actually properly
Well,
see
what
and
I
be
wanted
like,
to do-
oh yeah, that makes sense. Because a lot of times you'll see it from your perspective of like why you thought about it, like what your reasoning for it was, and that's all you see. You don't see what else the possibilities are, right? Because that just happens sometimes. So
Yeah,
sometimes you just need it pointed out, or you need a second opinion. That's why VOD review with someone else is often such a good idea.
And this is something I definitely want to like
Not sure if that was
do more of if you're okay with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
like-
That sounds great.
Because it,
Sound good.
yeah, he's just eating me here alive with a what is it, clone.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact I could punish that with jump 2K. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like,
Or 5p, 2p probably. Like,
yeah.
you like
Oh,
clone is very
well-
easy. Just like if he sends out clone, honestly, I would say mash. Worst thing that happens is you get hit by the clone and he doesn't get anything. Because if you get hit by just clone, he doesn't usually get that much. Because oftentimes he's still recovering from the clone, or you'll often trade with it.
Yeah, because like honestly, it's just putting you just in not mashing on it. You're just letting yourself get hit by
Again,
more.
you're mashing on the things you should be respecting, and you're respecting the things you shouldn't. If that makes sense. So it's like that's what's getting you so much.
I would argue that too.
The 5k. So you make some distance,
Sound good.
and then you thrust and get hit.
Yep.
And it's just
Don't-
one of those. It's just one of those things. He can close the distance. This didn't even have to be 6p.
That could
like
have been
look how close he is.
And I gotta say, this is something that like I also know is a very bad habit of mine. Like against chips specific. Well, okay. If I don't throw like a button after like love, usually I am pressing another button. It's kind of like after burst, right? Because
Yes.
like you don't even have to question it. You just know like, okay, I have something which will open you up like crazy immediately.
Oh yeah.
So I gotta keep myself just unpredictable and just don't let myself get in scenarios like this.
Yes. But yeah, so and again, just another matchup thing. You're doing a big, long, slow move. It's got great range, but against a character like Chip, sometimes range isn't everything.
No, it's not.
Again, so like because your range is kind of nullified, that's why you just use like shorter range buttons. You use your 2p, your 5k, you know, your 5p. Like you just use shorter range buttons because range isn't as relevant.
Yep.
Chip is so
Which is something I have such a hard time wrapping my head around because like,
coming out. What a six.
or at least up until like,
This is a good challenge on Clone, by the way. I want to give you props for this one.
oh, thank you.
Because you also did it with 6p, which is a great choice of call out here.
Show coming out. What a 6P.
And then you go for mix, you get to the other side. You're out of the corner.
I like that actually from Boltion. That was a really good.
All right, you're in the other corner.
One more time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure if you saw that there, but I tried to press after
That was a really good burst. I'm sure he plays
2H on block with 5H, which is a horrible
Back
idea.
here. Let's see.
I like that actually from Boltion.
It's right here, right here. It's what got me counter hit.
Well, it looked like it was on Rekka.
Ensure he plays the game at least one more time.
No. It was like right after he like dash blocked in. At
Oh,
me.
okay, yeah, that one. And then this one, you get counter hit by the Rekka again.
Yep.
You keep mashing on Rekka 1. And then, like I said, that's not a great fuzzy mash location.
No, it's for like when you say Rekka 2 is a no, Rekka 2 is just as bad.
I mean, Rekka 2's, I would say Rekka 2's not as bad of a mash location. Like, I think it's okay to mash there. But since your fastest button, I think, is only 5 frames, right?
Yeah.
Then I think you, like, will generally just trade. You're not even, like, beating it. You're just trading. So I would, it's not a great fuzzy mesh place either.
So it's really just after Rekka 2 then.
Yeah. So like after Rekka 2, you've got a couple options, but again, I would just recommend using FD on the early bits. It narrows the options he has. Because when a character has the most options they can do during pressure, that's when they're at their strongest. Because you can't predict everything. But if you use FD on his first few hits, he's at a lot fewer options because he has to do something that'll reach.
Yeah, and you could just make it to where like, okay, I do not want to RPS here.
Right. And granted, you're probably going to have to sometimes too. Again, he'll start staggering his moves or whatever, but again, that is RPS because now that he's creating gaps, you can take advantage of gaps with throw, with backdash, with, mashing. That's when you can start mashing. Once you've made him start staggering his attacks and creating his own gaps, then you can start fuzzy mashing.
Okay.
Oh, you just did it there. See that? Did you see that FD into punish?
That's so smart.
So you FD'd and his Rekka whiffed. And then you just get a nice punish. You almost got out of the corner.
That's partially on me for that one, because like...
you're panicking.
Yep.
You're just like, oh shit, I almost made it out of the corner. What's going on? Oh god, mix, gold burst. Do something, block, I don't know, mash, probably. Oh, no, you block it. Good boy. Good boy, you're blocking. He mistimed that dust anyway, so it was an intimidation tactic. Was that a wake up snip?
So,
it was
okay,
a
so
YRC snip. Okay.
Which it's something good to go for, but it's against Volteon. Like you have to play the player, right?
Yeah.
He knows that's an option. I just gotta
again, just
balls to the walls.
Yeah. Again, you just got to think about the risk reward. If you get snip, what do you get? Okay, you get Afro pressure, and you probably get out of the corner if you want. You can do whatever. If you're wrong and he backdashes, what happens to you here? Let's see what happens. Well, wouldn't you know it? You lose the round and the game.
Yep.
That the risk versus the reward seems a little imbalanced, don't you think?
Sure is.
So that one's a per scenario, because like it's a good thing to do, but if you look at it, if it works, you get some advantage, and if it doesn't work, you lose the game. So it's like, is that a risk really worth taking?
No. Not really. No.
Mm-hmm.
Which like it totally seems like it should be, right? But like,
Yeah.
it's just something just to like
Now,
really
granted,
like.
if you're behind, you do need to take some risks to win. But you just have to measure which risks are more important. You got counter hit. Good snip.
Thank you.
So this scenario here, so you hit him with the Afro pressure, you miss that, and then you jump again. Is there any particular reason you go for another jump?
Let me remember. So I do that.
Because you light the Afro, and then you go for another dust, and he backdashes it. And then you jump again. This time you press H, but you did jump again.
I guess I was already preemptively jumping, and I reacted to him air dashing in at me, kind of like last second. It's not something I was like anticipating.
Well, do you remember how I said if you mess something up or you make a mistake, your brain wants to immediately do it again to prove you can do it?
No, that's case
Your
in
jump
point.
dust didn't do anything, and you immediately jumped again.
Yep.
It's just a cute little quirk. It rarely matters, but if your opponent is very easily susceptible to that, you can take advantage. And especially on like if you notice the mistake they make is like supering, or if it's like DPing, something that's super rewarding to punish, keep an eye out.
That is an answer to that. That's really good to know.
Got Mini Faust.
All right, nice.
Oh, and I tried to catch him with a 2S here. I just misspaced it. That would have netted me a counter hit.
Yep. Yeah, and then he's just like, oh shit, Mini Faust, and I'm in the corner. Fuck it, I'm in the sky now.
Yeah, and it would have worked if I was like slightly back.
Yeah.
It's because see, like right there, I'm immediately trying to catch that, but
for sure.
not quite. Maybe I just like backdash on reaction.
Just a little misspaced. And to be honest, I wonder is 2S your best counter hit there?
Yes, easily.
Okay.
Mainly just
I just
like,
wasn't sure what your best one is. So
well,
at
if
least
I'm
in
like
that
trying
scenario.
to, yeah, no, I get it. Because like in that scenario, my 2S is actually disjointed right where I want to like anti
Exactly where you want to hit. So there's no chance of a trade or any shenanigans. Okay.
Yeah, and it leads to like full combo, pretty much guarantees the corner.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Gets him. All right, does not get the burst out.
Oh, and there. Okay, there's something I try to do right there. Another misspacing thing. I tried to
Gets him.
uh,
Get the burst out. Stopping the
catch him with a 2K when he goes for Alpha Blade. Right there.
Yeah.
him. All right,
He just wasn't in range.
I got you. So just execution stuff.
no super.
That happens.
It's fine. I think Volsgon's comfortable playing neutral.
Because like technically I am reacting. It's just like to most of these scenarios. It's just
Well, a mistimed anti-air is no anti-air. I gotta tell you.
yep. It's more of a punish in that case. Ooh.
I think Volsgon.
All right. So here you jump, and then was that love?
That was my jump 2K.
Oh, that was a
di-
J2K. Yeah.
I think he was doing that on a read.
Mhm.
Like I was gonna like go for like a quick little option like that.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So it goes, and yeah, he was just doing 6P no matter what there, for sure. So it could have been a call out. It could have been he just thought it was the safest one. Because to be fair, I think you're technically out of 6P range on a wall break round start.
Yeah, and I think as he's slightly out of like 2P range too.
Yeah. So I think it's like totally safe for him to do. It could have been a hard call out. Could have also just been completely safe.
Playing neutral here.
Yeah, you can't really tell on this one because like it was just kind of done like it was just done.
Right.
like,
We would have to ask him, right?
Times against Faust, it seems like.
Right, in the corner. That's 6H, huh?
Pretty comfortable all times against
So you go for something, I assume just cheeky here, and then was that a reaction RC, or were you just planning to 6H RC the whole time?
So what was it? Run it real quick. Oh, that was a snip.
Failed snap.
No, like like throw RC.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I was going for. So I was gonna RC the throw no matter what.
I see.
I was just trying to like guarantee.
So
that,
you were
like,
just like throw PRCing, just to like
Yep.
guarantee. Well,
yeah,
I'm not sure that's the best choice.
which
Because because now this leaves you you don't have basically meter while he does, and he is positive.
yeah, which is already like
And especially since you're low, you can try to save your burst, and you could have used that for like YRC. So like you just run up and you just start this pressure like normal, and then you just save it for a YRC if he tries to start his, because you just want to try and like halt all of his momentum so you can mount a comeback.
Mhm.
I think probably the worst thing you could do here is burst.
PRC. Oh.
But thank
Yeah,
God you
no, I
didn't.
was not playing the burst at all
Yeah.
in this.
Is that what that was?
That's
Yes,
good.
because see, I did another throw there.
Yeah.
Didn't work.
Well, missing the scarecrow. Yeah.
Interesting choice picking the up scarecrow.
Oh, fuck up. That's a fuck up.
Very Hail Mary choice.
Happens.
Yeah. I think Pip's starting to get a little frustrated because all of his normal.
Yep. So you FD'd him out of range, then you far slash. That's good. That's what we're talking about.
Wow, that is the first time I've ever seen Faust lose to air to air. Especially from
I don't know why I went for jump D there.
Oh, chip air button's so good though.
Oh, let me close my window. It's snowing now.
Almost. He didn't bait that one.
Okay.
Alright, well, he's gonna knock Pip through the wall.
Getting hit. So now you're behind. No burst. No meter. No health. No extra round.
Hit like that. Why?
Him perfectly healthy. Meter burst. 2 rounds. Half of his health.
Oh, he's getting a full conversion.
So this is rough.
Item, though.
Yep, it is. So I pretty much have to like go like play dangerously here, almost like.
Yeah. I mean, you
'Cause
gotta
not
take
like-
some amount of risk. Yes. No matter what, there's some amount of risk. You have to make a play.
Yeah, and
Although it
luckily
looks
here,
like he actually kind of just runs into you. So it looks like if he wanted to, he could just play it safe. He has no reason to take the initiative here. But he just runs into you a couple times, it looks like. Yeah.
Oh my god. Hey, bomb turning it around.
Like, to be honest, that's kind of on Voltion.
Voltion blocked 0 times and then died.
yeah, no, because like he has like even though he like kicked my ass, like he's still you know
Right,
human.
you know, there's no like perfect play, right?
Voltion time.
Yeah.
Oh, he lucked out that he got
So, you know, he's also making mistakes while you are too. But your mistakes seem to be a lot more like you take a lot more risk reward bad takes, if that makes sense.
because like I get blown up here for trying to mash, and I'm already like losing, and it's only been 10 seconds.
Yeah.
There's the low.
Oh, gets hit by the low Rekka.
I think Pip tried to grab
And I think there's actually an argument to burst while you're blocking here, actually.
Alpha Blade or 6K.
Really?
So he wire sees to take everything back, and then you're in the block string. I would say just use your burst. You have no health.
Yeah, against YRC, don't even try to RPS it.
Yeah. I would just say, like, just block. And then if he starts a block string, just burst.
Yeah, because like
Because
he
your burst
can't
is not going to be useful
burst
in any
for
other way.
YRC.
Yeah. Because your burst is not going to be useful. And
Right.
because one hit kills you, there's no combo related. So unless you want to try to go for a gold burst, I would say just get him, like, whatever you can do to make him not have a turn where you have to guess. Because right now, you're guessing for game on every hit.
Uh-huh.
So if you can just say, oh, I'd rather play neutral than a state where you're advantaged. Because, like, in this state where he is doing a block string, you are at a mega disadvantage because any wrong guess is game. So I would say just burst. I mean, it's
Okay.
not going to be useful in any other way. And he's certainly not going to expect it while you're blocking and not getting hit. Like, you're just going to burst him.
Yeah, no, the burst fiender
Yeah.
isn't going
Yeah.
to going to
He's not going to
and-
expect it then. And then it's, you guys are in neutral and you both have a meter.
Alpha Blade or 6K.
Or actually, no, right, because he spends it on YRC. So then you have a meter and he doesn't in neutral. Meaning he's actually in death range if you land a hit.
Oh,
There's the low.
I'm upset with myself again.
I'd like to see better
It-
defense
it-
against those Rekkas. Like,
I was like really like, okay, I could guess this out.
you gotta try to, like, IV.
No.
You gotta get 'em
No.
Quick enough now.
Look at me. I'm all like frustrated, like, oh my god.
Fast enough that's kind
I can't. I
Yeah.
can't.
Really?
Well, and so then you start to lose, and you said tilt out, right? So let's jump to
yeah.
the end of the Voltion stuff, or would you rather jump to the end of the TNS chip?
I think I got like enough from like Volt, if I'm gonna be honest, because like
Mhm.
I really did, because like I'm at like a point where like yeah there's like it's not even my neutral, like it's like yeah I mean it kind of is like glad that's on me,
Yeah, so,
right?
a lot of there's some chip neutral here, but there's also just kind of general game stuff. Because a lot of what I was like giving you advice for about Eno also applies to what you were dealing with chip.
Uh-huh.
So it's like a lot of that corner stuff, especially.
Because like we technically did I gotta say, we didn't even finish the set, and I already have like a full page of notes. Like,
Mhm.
10 right here.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing. I was like, well, we'll jump to the final game. What is this? Is this the game or is this? Yeah, because this was a 3-0, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So this is the final game. Okay, so you get hit by the round start. You lose neutral. Get thrown in the corner. You What is this mash, my friend?
Oh.
So you block clone, you block 5k, and then you mash and get hit by the second 5k again.
Oh. I think that was just a tilt mash. I'll be real.
Yeah, you just mashed 5p. Kudos, though. Your fastest button. Good job. Yeah, so now you're just like, fuck it, just jump at him, do stuff, like press buttons.
Yeah, because I do 2H here.
Again, remember how I was saying, you know, as soon as somebody's play like reeks of desperation, you can get away with murder.
And that's what he's doing.
So look how much he's throwing you this round. And then
A
it looks
lot.
like you anger tech, or anger just through.
Yeah, I did. Oh, yeah. Okay, there's like a huge scramble here. I
Yeah, I was
forgot
like,
about
this
that.
was massively scrambly.
And
It's
then
so
I
funny.
burned.
So he gets the afro side switch, and he's like, oh shit, that was a side switch? Okay, hold on. And then,
Yeah, we both get fucked up by the side switch. He then supers. I wasn't expecting banana.
yeah. And so like, this was massively scrambly, so, you know, it is what it is. Yep, and then, you know, in a scramble, that's the worst. The worst time to be tilted or desperate or anything like that is when there's a scramble. Because that's when your logical part of your brain is saying, press your fastest button. But your angry part of your brain is saying, press the biggest reward button. Because I need to make this comeback. And then so your brain says, press close slash. And you die.
Oh, that's frustrating.
Okay, you got a hammer. Doing some far slashes. So you see, this is what happens when you use far slash in neutral here. So you use far slash. All right, he waits outside the range, and he waits again because he knows you're going to swing it again. And then he rushes in. If after the first far slash, or even the second, you did 2p or 5k,
Yeah, he's getting hit.
you didn't have to backdash. You could just either swing again, you could block, you could do whatever you want. You could have hit him with it, for all we know.
I probably could have done like a check like 5p, 6p in the mix or something like that.
Yeah, you absolutely could have, because he was waiting for the next far slash. But that also means he was just, because you can't wait to recognize what move it is. You have to predict what move it is and then react once you see movement. So if you like 5k when he's expecting a far slash, he'll still run in to punish it as if it were a far slash because he's looking for it. So then suddenly he's running in and you're not in an animation. Right?
Yep, I'm not trying to like backdash or anything.
Right, exactly. So like that's an example of what I was talking about earlier. Get opened by the mix. No shame there. Yeah, and then this neutral is the kind of stuff that gets you killed. So you backdash at round start. Okay, that's fair. You walk around, and then you just like get hit.
I don't know what it's even going for. It looks like I was going for like 2p.
Again, you're just not really thinking. That's what it is, right? Your brain is turned off and is just like yeah. See, what button do you even press here? Probably you pressed 2K.
Oh, that what? Yeah, the big steppy. Yeah.
Which, to be honest, is also not a great move for stuffing approaches.
No, because if we're going by technicality, it's an 8-frame stuff, which isn't even all the way down.
Well, yeah, and it also doesn't even hit in front of you for like fast.
No.
So it's like, okay, so you're like in neutral, and you're like, okay, I don't do anything. You're not being proactive, so you choose to be reactive. but you choose to be reactive on a very bad button. And that's what your brain does when it's not thinking.
Chance against him.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it. Land grab maybe? YRC?
All right, you got a bomb. Now, I think there's an argument here
Land grab maybe? YRC?
for, on the knockdown, getting out of the corner. I know it's natural to want to try an item toss, especially when you're like behind and you're like, well, what if I get meteors or mini Faust or something?
Yeah.
But I would say again, and you're also in that scenario again. So there's all these times where it's like you have burst but no health. You need to make sure that you're using your bursts better if this keeps happening to you. They're mistimed either last round or they're mistimed this round, right?
Yeah.
Because if you have no health and burst, then something went wrong.
Yeah, which...
And granted, again, there's a sorry, for this exact scenario, it's totally fine to throw an item. I just personally think it'd be better off getting out of the corner.
Yeah, both of them really don't care.
Which, like, honestly, I, like, totally agree with here, because, like, I fuck up... he backdashes my close slash, and I, like,
Yep.
rage
And did you
burst.
notice how much he was throwing you, though, this game? Like, the first few games we watched, he threw you very rarely.
No,
But
actually,
you notice
I don't
how
even...
in this game, he threw you like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, because I think he kind of, like, knew in the back of his mind I was, like, tilted going into it.
Mm-hmm. And that's exactly it. Again, you reek of desperation.
Uh-huh.
And you can just take advantage of that. Like, the more you throw somebody, the more likely they are to, like, block if they're desperate, if that makes sense. Because it's, again, their brain's not thinking right. So then they'll just be like, shit, I got hit. I gotta, like, okay, I need to play, like, safe. It's not on their mind to mash, usually, if they get thrown and they're, like, super desperate or tilted. It's generally not on their mind to mash after a throw. They'll mash after blocking. But after a throw, they'll just be like, oh, screw it. Like, it sort of depends. But you just want to, I guess, be careful.
Yeah,
obviously, anything you can do to, like, untilt yourself, if you take a minute. If you want to take, like, a meditative exercise or, like, a breathing thing, if it helps, please do. Like, whatever can help you either remain untilted or become untilted.
I think... You know what I think this brings me back to? Whether or not I wear headphones. Because, like, I've always been, like, very on and off, right?
Yeah.
Because, like, I think nowadays I'm more of, like, okay.
So when things are going good, you don't want headphones. But the moment something starts going wrong, you want headphones, you think?
Yeah.
That's fair. It can be kind of like you're like, okay, this is serious mode now.
Yeah, like, okay, calm down, figure something out.
Yeah.
Get some nice...
However, you gotta, like, mentally, like, prepare yourself.
I should, like,
give yourself the time to calm down. Go back to character select, put on your headphones, breathe for a second, and then go back in.
Okay. I should, like, keep, like, headphones, like, around my neck, going in and out of these sets, just for, like, just in case.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, earbuds, however you like to do it. Again, it's all about just whatever you mentally like and register with.
Yep.
Because the mental game is always personal. I can't give you advice of what I do to remain calm.
No, it's person.
Right, because I am generally a very calm person, but I also have very specific things I do that help me stay calm. And even if I tell you to directly do those things, it's not necessarily going to work for you. So you just have to, like, look around, think, like, oh, how do I feel comfortable? Like, if you need to bring a blanket to your like, matches and, like, put it on your lap and, like, get cozy and warm, or, like, a Snuggie, that's you, man. Like, whatever your personal thing is, if for you it is, like, bring headphones and listen to, I don't know, death metal or I don't know, techno pop, K-pop, whatever. Like, whatever you got to do, it's personal.
I put on Mario and Luigi music.
Yeah, they whatever works, man. Whatever gets you feeling it, whatever gets you pumped. Right? Because the other thing is, honestly, I would say pop off. You feel pretty good after a pop off. But I would recommend, again, try not to pop off early.
No.
Because you will use up all of your energy. Anybody who pops off on a grand finals reset loses. They don't win the grand finals. Like, pop off when you've won. Because that helps your energy for the whole event.
I think that's what...
Be like, damn, fuck, I'm sick. Hell yes, dude. That was awesome. And, like, your opponent maybe, it kind of sucks sometimes, but honestly, it's a compliment. Because if you pop off against somebody, that means they were worth popping off against.
Oh, yeah, no,
exactly.
exactly.
People aren't going to see it that way. I can guarantee you people are probably going to get mad.
So let me put it this way.
I recommend it.
I would... what was it? Last time I beat Noah, it was at another one of these Sunday things, right?
Yeah.
I popped off after I beat him because that was the first time I did.
Right, yeah, you finally overcame your big hurdle.
Yeah, and I met him in Grand's Winterside again. And because I popped off, I kind of like lost my mental energy going into it.
Yeah, it wears you down. Like you're just tired.
Yeah, and the second time when I beat Noah, it was like, oh, GG's. Like I'm just beating anyone else.
Yeah, well, and it's one of those things. Again, it's one of the short term things. So, like, in the short term, you are going to lose energy. But in the long term, you stay hyped over a whole tournament.
Yep.
And that's one of the things I recommend. At locals, feel free to dial it back. Do mini pop-offs or just, pop off against, like, the really good players. Try to keep it genuine. But I would highly recommend, dude, just pop the fuck off at, like, majors and big tournaments. Because odds are, who cares? You might not see that person anyway. And even if you do, that was good shit. It was a good game. You popped off. Like
exactly.
Again, hype yourself up for the whole tournament.
That's kind of like, because you didn't see me when I was like there between like sets.
Yeah.
Like, I was. You should have seen me after I beat Apology Man, bro. Oh my god.
No, yeah, I heard that your pop off was very loud.
And yeah, I even got comments on it on Twitter when I posted my.
People tweeted at you like, "Shit, dude, you scared the fuck out of me." I remember a tweet like that. Yeah.
And I'm like, no, sorry, but like, but no. After that, I proceeded to maul everyone in my path, because like that's what got me into top.
Like I said, if you pop off and then immediately play a game, you're going to lose that game. But if you pop off and then you go and chat with your friends and then, you've got a little bit of time before your next game, you're going to win your next game. Like, it's one of those things where it's like in the short term, you are like no energy. But in order to maintain hype and energy over a whole event, you have to have that hype. You have to feel that. You have to like get with your homies and be like, dude, I just did this. And like, go ham. Say, again, the damn I'm good. Like, that's the shit you need.
That like actually though, because like I didn't have to play any matches for top 48 until the next day, and I made that on the side, which
top 48 winner's side is something to be hella proud of.
Oh no, I am. I have been like gushing like, oh my god, I got
17th from winner's side versus 17th from loser side is a big difference.
No, it is, and what was it? I think part of my problem going into like say like Tempest and Bane afterwards is because like after like I made top 48, I knew I got like secured 17th. I was like,
right, because at that point you can lose out and you'll still get 17th, which you did.
Yeah, I was like with Bobbin in the fucking
Redeemer
side hallways.
Yeah.
And I was just like hyping myself up, like oh man, who is this Tempest guy? I don't know. I'll beat the shit out.
Never heard of him. Some Leo.
Yeah, just some guy.
Well, and that's another big thing is a lot of people get starstruck. The most I can say is they're just a person. Like I said, you can walk up to them, you can talk with them, because a lot of people will see somebody like that in their bracket, and they'll get scared, and they've already lost. They've lost before they played the game.
More in, I guess, what is it? in-person tournaments because everyone's there, and like when you see, because like when you're online, all you see is just like a name and a
Yeah.
character, and you have nothing to like really like see like who they are,
It's not
how
like
they act,
attached. Yeah.
or like even like feel their, because like I pick up on energy very well.
Mm-hmm. The vibe.
Yes, and I really abuse that against Mac Men's in particular in our match, because like, bro, I'll be honest, in my time playing Strive, that was probably the most tilted I've made anyone.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that bad.
I
Huh?
threw 3 meteors in the last round.
Whew. That's solid.
I did. It's so
Hell yeah.
bullshit.
But now, yeah, I mean, whatever you got to do to keep your mental game strong. Again, whether like at a big event, I highly recommend mini pop-offs, chatting with your friends, being like, dude, you just check out this sick shit I did. Let me tell you about it. Like going to a big event and chatting with your friends, chatting with pros you like, chatting with whoever you want to, playing friendlies. Highly recommend. If you're at a locals, probably don't pop off too much or too hard. Just because you can get a bad reputation, people might start to hate, like, not like playing you, because you have to play these people all the time, right?
Yeah,
So
no,
try
exactly.
to be a little bit more subdued at locals, but like pop off when you think you've earned it, right?
No, I did, and I to this day I think the only person I've actually popped off after like a win is Noah. That first time I beat him, because like
Nice.
it took me many a times to like
Well, yeah,
actually
because
like,
it was a long time before you actually managed to do it.
yeah, because like I've been trying to get him since the start, and I didn't get it like until like what, January.
Something like that, yeah.
So like 9 months I have been trying this endeavor to finally get it. I'm like, okay, sick.
Yeah, for sure.
And like all I needed was that one, and it was what was able to get me I guess almost through my next matches after that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. So I think if we cover any more right now, not only will we be going late, obviously, but I think it would be too much.
no, I agree,
Because you have
like,
a lot that you have written down, right? But
yes,
I want you
I
to know
have.
that you can't work on all of it at once.
Yeah, and I think if I were to like do what was it, Flare and Lapras for the same chip stuff,
Mhm.
I don't think I'd be learning much more.
Right,
like,
because we've sort of ironed out between like this match between you and Eno and Chip, like sort of what your primary problems are. They're not even necessarily matchup related right now. Obviously, there is matchup stuff. Again, use faster buttons and sprinkle in the bigger ones.
yeah, but I
All
think
that
with
stuff in neutral, and then respect his pressure, know what you can and can't respect, that kind of a
yeah,
thing.
and one thing that like I really uh didn't consider at all in the matchup until like you like literally mentioned it is like disguising my range, right? Because like,
Yeah. Because if you just don't represent the bigger buttons, they'll just forget about them. There's too many things going on in a fighting game that you can't like always keep track of everything.
and
So
I think that like,
sometimes and to be fair, you also could just be tricking them into thinking you've been conditioned or that you've, something like that.
uh-huh. And like it's something that I could like easily apply to like literally any matchup in the game. Because
Yeah.
like,
Because to be honest, a lot of this advice, like we mentioned, is the same between the Eno and the Chip matchup. Like a lot of this advice is usable in both or in any other matchups too.
yeah, which
Like
is
any of the characters you outrange, if you corner them, who gives a shit? Just stay like under the timer and be like, what are you going to do about it? Make them answer your question.
exactly. Because really all fighting games are a bunch of like
Yeah.
fucking, yeah.
It's a
Like,
debate. You pose a question, they answer it, or they don't. And you just keep doing that until somebody wins or makes a mistake or however the cookie crumbles.
mhm.
But yeah, so what are the things you want to work on first? Because I would recommend if you're going to work on these, you got to work on them over time.
Yeah,
But
I
like
can't
which stuff do you want to try and do first? Do you want to like try and like focus in on making sure you do your corner stuff first, or do you want to focus in on like the chip matchup? Like,
I think
work on like a chunk at a time.
I think like generally with how like I run, right?
Hmm.
I do try to like chunk stuff out. But in a way where like I try to like keep everything together,
Right.
if that makes sense. Because like I
No, I
think
get
like
you.
there's
You want to like try to remember everything if you can, and then like one thing is the priority.
uh-huh.
Yeah,
And I think
that's a healthy way to do it.
yeah, and I think the main things I want to do is just disguising my range for one. Which like in itself like that's kind of like 5K practice,
Yeah,
right?
and to be fair, it's not
Um,
even like just disguising your range. It's also just using safer buttons. That like
yeah, no,
he'll just get fewer whiff punishes, which means you're taking less damage.
and which also leads into what is it? I guess anti-airing with it more,
Hmm.
making the opponents respect my space in the corner rather than
Yep.
just go 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 kill
Yeah.
kill
So
kill.
sometimes the right choice is no choice. Sometimes the right choice is do nothing.
Uh-huh.
But
Just
yeah,
just make them just choke them out.
yeah.
Choke them out.
And like intimidation displays are actually important. But yeah, absolutely. Are you going to Winter Showdown?
Yes, I am. I
That is this weekend, or is that next weekend? Friday?
at least for the strive portion, it's technically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, but
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, try to implement as much as you can between now and Winter Showdown, and we can try to review your Winter Showdown to see your progress, see how much you were able to do in this like few days.
yeah.
Because you're almost certainly probably gonna play Volteon and Noah again, right?
Would be surprised if I play both of them
Well,
straight up.
maybe not both, but you'll still probably play at least one of them, right? And we can probably
Okay.
see again. Just try to burn this new stuff, this information into your fingers and into your brain, and do as much as you can, and then just try to keep it at least on the back of your mind at Winter Showdown. Try to keep your mental state good at whatever you got to do, whatever your personal go-to should be. Make sure you have it, and then try your darndest to win Winter Showdown.
Oh, I will. I think at the very least I will to start things off. I will just bring sorry, I heard my door move. I have my window open in my bedroom.
Ah,
It
spooky.
jump scared. Oh god, someone's in my house.
Very spooky.
Oh very. But I will try to just bring headphones just for like a backup because like I said, I'm very interchangeable. I may as well just keep both things on me. Right.
Yeah.
It's like
For sure.
what am I hurting? Like really?
Yeah. It doesn't really take that much extra effort, and you could be surprised at the results. So,
Oh yeah, no, because like
highly recommend.
right, and I think I've went over it many times. I think I like understand what I need to do now. It's like that's even a
Mhm.
note I had against what is it? Fucking Bean. Because like
Oh
I
yeah,
had that like crowd behind me, which like granted, like that's only like the type of crowd you'll find at like
yeah. That's like
majors.
the major crowd when you're playing like one of the big guys, and he's got all of his homies with him.
Which hey, now I know. Now
Yes.
I know.
And that's what the thing is. You're never gonna win your first event usually.
Oh no.
Um, so like because there's certain things that you just can't be prepared for, and that's like one of them is crowds. Like nerves on stage, public speaking type of stuff. Like there's always going to be like at least one thing. Maybe you're not prepared for the jet lag. You didn't bring enough food or snacks and you're hungry at the event. There's always one thing that you need at least one major under your belt before you can win the next major, right?
Which like I totally like I think next major I go to, I have I don't know if I'll like do better per se, but I think like in the mental the mental stack of it all, I'll be like, I'll know what to like expect.
Yeah.
Because like I can't expect let's say like just every major I go to, I am guaranteed getting 17th and above, because
Right.
that is
Right, and that's not guaranteed. Again, you might fight Tempest and Bean earlier in the tournament, and you just get a worse placing because you
But like,
lost to two very strong players, but you could have fought them at any point, and that's just the
right.
nature of randomized brackets. Well, and they're seeded, but they're still randomized.
Yeah, and I even then I still have to give myself credit, because like, it's like it could be very easy to like write off my stuff as like, oh well, I just got lucky in bracket or whatever. Well, I have to remember, like, players like that I like respect, like Apology Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would have had the same route as me.
Yep.
And would have had to go through all the same shortcomings, and
Exactly.
or I guess like
And because the idea of like, oh, they just got an easy bracket or my bracket sucks is a fallacy. You're holding
right.
yourself back if you think that.
Exactly, because like,
Because
if
everyone's got problems. Every major is you are just dealing with problems the entire tournament, and whoever
yeah,
deals with them the best wins.
because like if Apology Man did like had the exact same run as me,
Mm-hmm.
like say roles were reversed, I kind of like pooped out after
Right, you lost
my
to Apology Man, and then he goes on your same route.
yeah, and like I would have looked at his run like oh my god, he's crazy,
Right, but like turns out you had the same run, but you
Yeah,
might not
exactly.
have known that if you just lost to Apology Man instead.
Yeah, no,
So
exactly,
it's like
exactly.
you can't just like look at a bracket as a winner takes all or like a lump sum, right? You gotta use your brain logic, just think clearly. That's why I've never been a fan of looking at just the top 8. I've always been an advocate of anyone in the top 32 usually, or top 48, whatever amount of people in the bracket changes like which cutoff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like anyone in that range had a chance to win. And like so it's
Yeah,
important to look at everyone in that range
because like
and
everyone
not
in that
like just the top 8. Yeah.
like even ooey gooey chewy
Snicker, yeah.
which
Yeah.
actually funny enough, right when I got back from Frosty, I was kind of looking back at like VODs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at the last person I played before I left. You know who it was?
Oh, who's that?
Ooey gooey chewy Snicker.
Oh, you played Ooey Gooey?
Yeah, I played him before um going to Frosty, and it turns out, oh shit, we got the same placing, didn't we?
Nice. That's
So,
good shit.
hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you very much for coming on. Let me try, review your VODs with you and do whatever we can. I think it went well. I don't know how you feel.
I
um,
feel I feel great. I feel
oh,
great.
fantastic. That's what we like to hear. Happy to help, of course. Happy to help you again in the future. Again, like I said, we'll look at your Winter Showdown VOD as well once you do what you can before the tournament. I know this is pretty late on the VOD review in prep for a tournament, but
Hey, I'll take anything.
do what you can. You've still got a few days to try and adapt this into your play, and just keep it in the back of your mind at the tournament as well. And
Yeah, I
hopefully
will.
you'll find some improvement.
I'm sure hoping. Even if I don't get it right away, I'm not. I at least have like a more structured idea of like how I want to like run things. So.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be it then for tonight. Again, thank you, Pip, for coming. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure to have a wonderful rest of your night, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, it finally happened, by the way.
Oh, it broke?
It's not broke, but I can't lift off with it anymore.
Oh.
Metal fatigue is bad. It doesn't really support weight anymore.